Hey, boy. Sunshine, warming up. I'm liking it. Got the good and the bad. And then the questionable. The good, the Brewers sweep the Pirates out of town. Brewers off today. Then they go into a weekend series with the Philadelphia Phillies. The bad, the Bucks lose, and Chris Middleton ends up with a sprained MCL. That's going to take some time to heal. I know the way people kind of look at this is, he's going to be fine. I don't know. That a sprained MCL is not easy to come back from. And it's hard to come back from when you play football and you play, a very physical sport. But I've always said, I think the most physical of sports for the body overall is basketball. The constant movement, the constant cutting, the pounding on the legs, the ankles, the knees, the physicality of it. I don't know if Middleton's going to be back anytime soon. At least a couple of games, you would assume. And maybe if it, if the Bucks are facing some type of an elimination game, maybe he comes back. But can they win without Chris Middleton? I think they can. But last night was ugly. How else do you put it? The Bucks, I was wrong, man. I really thought the Bucks had come out. I was wrong. I thought the Bucks would shoot better beyond the arc. I was wrong. I thought they'd come out with a different tenacity. I was wrong. Bucks lose by 4, 114-110. Series now tied up at a game apiece. And now they travel down to Chicago, where Friday night they have the 7:30 tip time. That's on ABC Friday night, as the Bucks and the Bulls are going to go at it. I have to. Not only was I wrong, but I have to apologize. Do you know what for, Ben?
No.
I didn't do a Bud Light, or I didn't do a live stream last night, a Facebook Live. I ended up, for those that can relate, I very, very, very rarely get them. But I got off the air yesterday, and so I was getting stuff together. I've been kind of cleaning up the house. We're traveling next week, so I'm going to be gone. I got some people coming over, and I'm kind of cleaning up the sheets and doing laundry and stuff. And I just started to feel a little under the weather. I started to get a headache, and I took some leave. It ended up becoming almost like a migraine, and to the point where I didn't even watch the end of the game. I watched till about half, and then I took some stuff, and I was just out. I was down for the count last night. So I got up this morning at 6 and watched the end of the game. And then I got a bunch of yard work. I got yard work done today. I'm pretty fired up. I got yard work done today. I fertilized my yard this morning after the last night's rain, and it's going to be warm today. And I had went out over the weekend because I was actually considering using a lawn service just to kind of give me that spring cleanup, and they go through your yard and they thatch it and everything, But I thought, you know what? I went out to Blaine's Farm in Fleet, and I got the triple protection Scott's Turf Builder, and I bought the spreader and the whole thing. And so I did that this morning. I got out this morning on a beautiful day, and I thought I'll get my steps in, do a little walk around the yard, up and down, and go through, patch some areas, because I maybe will need to cut the grass on Saturday, but because I think by the time I get home next week, it'll be like up to my butt. But yeah, so that's what I did today. I got up and watched the game, the second half of the game, and then I got work done around the house. So not feeling too bad today, but last night, man, I thought if I go downstairs and if I have a drink and smoke a cigar, I'll get sick. I'll throw up. My head, if you've ever had a migraine feels, headache is like behind your eyes. It's kind of like sinus, you get it in your temples. It's a little behind your eyes. A migraine feels like somebody took a ball peen hammer and just tapped you on the top of the head with it, and it just radiates. And so last night I started getting that, and I really wanted to. Kristen called me and said, "Hey, I'm waiting. Are you doing Facebook Live?" I'm just like, I told her at the time, I said, I'm laying in bed. My eyes are closed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So that was it. So I didn't do that last night. So my apologies. But the Bucks ended up losing last night, and they lost Chris Middleton. Physical game last night. Physical game. Bobby Portis takes not one, but 2 elbows. Arms, head to the head. Arms to the head. The whole thing. And then you didn't have Hill, obviously, because of the abdominal strain. Middleton goes down. Bobby Portis in and out. He's got that bloody face. He had to go to the locker room and get taped up. So last night, physical game for the Bucks last night, and they lost a physical game. Disappointing. And by the way, the guy that I have come to love to hate but respect the hell out of is Caruso. Alex Caruso is a pesky, fast hands. He reminds me of like Wojciechowski when he played for Duke. And you love to hate him, running to the end of the floor, and he's pounding his hands on the floor, and he was just that pesky little SOB that nobody wanted to face, and everybody loved to hate because he just had this tenacity, Alex Caruso is that guy. You respect the hell out of him because you keep thinking every time you hold the ball out, every time you put the ball on the floor, if you don't protect it, he's going to swipe it. And he did it constantly last night. He did it constantly in game one, but constantly last night. Constantly. He was credited with only, I think, just like a couple of steals, but there was 2 or 3 times where he would slap the ball and knock it out of bounds. You couldn't get inside if you put the ball on the floor. So now the question becomes Middleton with a bad knee. You got George Hill. Hopefully he can come back. In addition to that, you got Bobby Portis, which I think Bobby Portis is going to be back in game 3. But Bobby Portis gets the bloody uglies. This is a physical game, and if the Bucks don't come out and play like a boxer that's been put in the corner and they're getting the hell beat out of them, they're gonna end up just tripping on themselves. Now, I said the Bucks will win the series 4-1. So that prediction's still in place. But last night, unbelievably disappointing. So last night, we also, though, we did get a chance to see the introduction of Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb sitting next to the owners last night, mid-court on the court, as we all know Aaron Rodgers is an owner. But the question then became last night, as you watched some of that, and I didn't get a chance to see the actual introduction the first time Aaron Rodgers was put on the Jumbotron. I did. Ben, did you see what kind of reaction there was last night when they showed Rodgers?
I heard it was a resounding cheer.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I believe it came, though, when the Bulls started on a 9-0 run. So then people tied the lack of playoff scoring to that. But yeah, I didn't do it.
There was, I saw this last night, and I read it over the Facebook fan page because I had the picture last night. I took it off of the television, the picture of Rodgers and Randall Cobb sitting next to one another. And so it was interesting because the reaction was so vast, was so different. It was Sean blames the inability for the Bucks to score on Aaron Rodgers. Following Aaron Rodgers' lead in the postseason was one of the comments. Bears fans chiming in, obviously. David says they should never go back to a game. Aaron Rodgers wasn't there last year, and they won the championship. He shows up at one game, they lose. Papa Lee says that's a lot of horizontal windows to clean. They're not in good position. Aaron Rodgers should not show up. Patrick says, I was wondering when he would actually show up to a game. Ann says, oh, look, the coward is back. Ron says, that's right, Bucks. Take a page out of the Aaron Rodgers playbook, win the first round, and then lose in the end. It was bad juju, says David. Chad says, good to see the king back in the palace. Mark says, where's Christian Yelich? Although Yelich and those guys, my assumption is, since they're off today, they were home last night, and they'll probably wing their way to Philadelphia tonight. So I don't know if Yelich was there or not, but he says, where's Yelich? All our MVPs would be under one roof. And it just kind of goes on from there. But there was so much reaction to all of that. Mike says, no wonder the Bucks lost last night. Look at the D-bag sitting courtside. So anyway, it was just interesting. But last night, Bucks, there was a lid on the bucket. They couldn't hit. The turnovers, oh my God, the turnovers last night were I always go back to what George Karl would, when I would sit years ago, when George Karl was the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks in 99, 2000, 2001. I'd go down and I'd watch the Bucks practice. And then there were times George would invite me up and I'd go sit in his office and we would sit there and talk. And we would always just talk strategies and, the next game and, what player was pissing him off, whether it was Ray Allen being soft on defense or, Scotty Williams, joking around at practice when he's trying to be serious or, just whatever just drove him nuts. How he likes Sam Cassell because Sam Cassell kind of knew when to turn it up a notch. And, he talked about, the energy of Darvin Ham. And so there was all these different things, but he would always come back to, he'd lean back in his chair and he'd have his hand up on his desk, one hand on his desk, and he'd be playing with something, whether it's he had a little, like a basketball globe thing. So he'd spin that and he'd lean back in his chair and he'd be sitting sideways. So his left hand would be up on the desk and he'd be spinning that. And he'd look at me and say, Bill, I just don't know how to get these guys to value the possession. And he'd say it all the time. He'd say it in post-game press conferences. He'd say it to me. He'd say it to the team. He just value the possession. Every possession is an opportunity. And every time you don't value the possession and you get sloppy, you give them the opportunity to score. And it's a 4-point swing if they score, or 6, depending on the 3. So every time I see some really high dribbling and guys looking around the floor, dribbling the basketball way out in front, getting it slapped away, or dumb passes, I would always hear George Karl in my ear going, these guys just don't value the possession. And it drove me nuts last night. They didn't value the possession at all and kept turning the ball over. So last night, Bucks get beat. Bucks had 15 turnovers last night. 15. It's hard to win like that. They went 10 deep into the bench last night. Giannis dropping 33, had 25 from Brook Lopez, who continues to shine in the postseason. Brook Lopez, I'll tell you what, if you can get Middleton, if you can get Drew Holiday to give you more than 20 points a game, you're going to win games. With Brook Lopez playing this way right now, you're going to win games. You're going to win games. And last night, the bench, nothing. Bench gave you 8 points last night. That's it. The bench gave you 8 points last night. Ibaka played 1 minute. Allen played 21. Pat Connaughton played 23 last night. But you're looking for that other rotational guy, that junkyard dog. That's where PJ Tucker was last year. He was that guy, came off the bench. If Caruso was having a game, he'd go out and just put him in Caruso's jock and frustrate Caruso. If he needed somebody to lock up on somebody, he'd put him on DeRozan for 10 minutes and just watch DeRozan just get frustrated. DeRozan last night, big night last night. He dropped, 40, 41 last night he hit? So big night for him last night. But it just was a frustrating game to watch. They didn't value the possession. They didn't cherish the basketball. They only had 4 steals on the night, but they turned the ball over 15 times. 15 times last night. Frustrating night for Bucks fans. Now, here's my next question. With what you've seen in game 1 and now what you've seen in game 2, do you have concern? Are you starting to go, uh-oh? Or are you thinking to yourself, they got this? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Stay tuned. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. Want to get your thoughts, your reaction to all of this. Stay tuned. We got more coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Show we continue. Hey, if you are looking for new windows and doors, Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, they have got a deal for you right now. Big time. The more you buy, the more you save. It's that simple. Then you throw in that patio door and you're good to go. Simple as that. So you buy 3 windows, you save $500 when you throw in a patio door. You buy 6 windows, you save $1,000. Throw in a patio door. You're kind of following me so far, right? You buy a dozen windows, how much? $2,000 when you throw in a patio door. In addition, they've got 6 full lines of different windows. They have the vinyl, 2 different economical vinyl windows. They've got the Impervia, which is as strong as, if not stronger than, fiberglass. And then 3 different lines of wood windows, traditional to contemporary. You can pick your interior. You can pick the exterior. You can go with the hardware. Roll screen, slider windows, many different styles. Match it all up with your patio door, and good to go. But right now, and plenty of different ways to finance too. Pella's got all kinds of financing options. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com. P-E-L-L-A, PellaWI.com, or call them 855 Pella WI. That is 855 Pella WI. 855 Pella WI. And check out our friends from over there at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Good stuff. Let's get back to it. 877-867-1670. Joe listening to us in Marshfield. Joe, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Good morning to you. I was listening to the ESPN last night right after the game got done, and Freddie McGivens was on, and he says, do you know why do you know why the Bucks lost last night? And then he went to commercial. They came back, and Aaron Rodgers is in the house. He's got his trim beard and his slick back hair. That's why the Bucks lost. Rubbing it in.
Yeah. I can see that. I'm not a fan of the superstition in that particular way. But if they come back home and Rodgers is in the house again and they lose and they're, say, tied up at 2 games apiece or, down 3-2, and then Rodgers isn't there and then they win, then I think you keep Rodgers away the rest of the series. Whatever it is, whatever superstition you may have, as long as it's working, you stick with it. It's until it doesn't work anymore is when you don't stick with it.
You think you'll let him in the door?
Oh God, yeah. He's an owner. He's a part owner. I think you got to right now.
Speaking of him,
yes.
I was thinking about the Packers last season, on their first game when they got beat by the Saints real bad. They didn't have their first team in the preseason, any of them at all. And it took them a whole week to get situated to the speed of the game.
Yep.
I was wondering, do you think if they get a couple of wide receivers, what the reaction is going to be if they keep the first teamers out again this year?
I would, I got to think that they'll do a lot of things cautiously the way they did it last year, but I got to think that you got to have playing time for Aaron Rodgers with the young guys because they have to, quote, get on the same page. Look, I don't care if they go out and they put them out in that bucket brigade and they play the drums. I don't care. I just don't want to hear losses in the regular season being blamed on the unfamiliarity with one another and the fact that they're, quote, not on the same page. I think that's then going to be a hypocritical cop-out because Rodgers is clearly in the state of Wisconsin. So for whatever reason, he can't show up for the OTAs or the workouts or the whatever, but he can show up and take in a game. That's fine. That's his prerogative. He's allowed to do that. But my argument is don't then come to me during the season and say, well, I don't have a relationship with these guys, because that will be the one thing that will set me off dynamically to some kind of absolute mental breakdown, because then it'll just be an absolute hypocritical statement.
You know that when the season was progressing and they were winning games, they never brought that up during the whole season? It was never brought up that they didn't have the preseason, the reason they lost the first game?
No, of course not. Because when things are good, you don't have to make excuses. When things are bad, that's when they begin to make excuses. And Rodgers makes excuses. It's suddenly well, I don't trust this guy. I don't have a rapport with that guy, whatever.
They better be on the first page right away this year, so then they can correct that stuff.
I agree with you. Appreciate it, man. Okay. Thanks for listening in Marshfield. Good station. WOSQ in Marshfield. Our ESPN station up there. Good stuff. Love our friend. We have not been back to Marshfield to visit in a while. We have to get to Nuts Deep 2. That's a hell of a bar. Got to get back up there. Nuts Deep 2. You bet. Let's see here. What else we got over on the Bud Light live stream for all of you chiming in this morning? Welcome to all of you. Jacob says, Bill, I am concerned. Yes, Bucks turnovers and Middleton being hurt. You bet. Kyle says Middleton's health is going to be a key going forward. Without Middleton healthy, I think the Bucks can get past the Bulls. However, I don't think Milwaukee gets past Philadelphia. Last night you saw Joel Embiid hit a 3. What about that turnaround jumper last night, one Ben Kenny?
Oh, remarkable shot. I mean, he's ridiculous. I kind of wanted them to lose, so Doc Rivers got fired. But, I mean, there's some magic in the air. They're exercising the demons of that weird gravity thing with Kawhi's shot a couple years ago.
Do you think that they are exercising the demon that was Ben Simmons?
I mean, absolutely. Harden, while I'm not a fan of his, and he is not old, he isn't the Harden of a couple years ago.
Right.
He is wildly important to that team. Mm-hmm. And any team without Ben Simmons is going to be more successful in the playoffs.
Correct.
And the Nets are down 0-2. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part about it, too. The Nets being down. So, and I love it. I love it. I don't know why I love it, but I love it. I never been a Kyrie fan. Always thought he was kind of a jerk. But the fact that he did get a chance to come back, he stuck to his guns. He's played well in game 1, but the fact that they've lost both games and this super team that those two guys were going to pull off and put it all together and just steamroll over the East, I couldn't happen to a better team. Dennis says it's not going to be easy to beat the Bulls in Chicago, especially when you're a team that's going in there banged up. Jeff, great show. Thank you very much, sir. Good stuff. Tom says, I only watched about 5 minutes of the game, and that was the story. It was incredible how they threw the ball away, made bad passes, and didn't seem to care. Jacob also says, I think the Bucks got to stop turning the ball over, at least turn it over less. Do you think if the Bucks wouldn't have had as many turnovers do you think they win that game? Yeah. Gino says, don't worry, Bucks are going to be fine. Bucks are going to be fine. No reason to worry. Ricky says the Bucks had turnovers, missed a lot of open shots for sure. But in my opinion, the refs dictated the game. The Bucks played good defense. Fouls, Bulls manhandle the Bucks. Then that is okay. You cannot ref it one way for a team and then different for another. But that's the NBA. That's the NBA. Corey says, if you go up to Marshfield, Mojo's Homemade Pasta and Cajun Cookhouse, a must try. Really? And they have great cannolis. Oh, I love a good cannoli. I love a good cannoli. As a matter of fact, I got a little bit of a gathering here on Sunday before we get out of town, and we're doing Italian. And I am going, there's a little Italian market near the house. And it's maybe 3 miles away, 4 miles away. And I'm picking up a bunch of homemade cannolis this weekend. Can't wait. Can't wait. They're not on the diet, though. So I am allowed, basically, Kristen and I can share one. They have chocolate chip cannolis. They've got a raspberry-filled cannoli. Oh, my God. That's like, it's just put it in your pants pocket and hope it breaks. It's that good. Oh, my God. Yep. What else do we have here? Brett says, Bucks need to limit the turnovers, but I'm confident with our Bucks. Last year, I know Giannis don't like it when the past is mentioned, but the Bucks rallied against the Hawks without Giannis. Granted, without Trae Young, they still were able to overcome adversity without Giannis. Go Bucks, fear the deer. And then Jacob says, yes, Bill, come back to Marshfield. Come to Nuts Deep. Yes, they got great burgers and cheese curds. The cheese curds at Nuts Deep, too, are awesome. Awesome. Damn straight awesome. I love Marshfield? Because I bring my bike, pedal bike, and I stay down the street at the hotel, usually when I come to town, and I jump on the bike early in the morning. And I like to go ride early in the morning. Oddly enough, I didn't do it today. But I like to go ride early in the morning, and I love to pedal through town. I just love it. It's not a heavily traveled traffic area. It's not crazy traffic or anything like that. And I just pedal through town. I'll do maybe 10, 15 miles, but I'll do it. I'll go through neighborhoods, up and down the street, up around the Marshfield Clinic, up around that Quick Trip and the railroad that goes through there. I'll look both ways and then cross that railroad track and get down the street, more into the main area of town, back into the neighborhoods, and then back down to the hotel, past that zoo on the backside of the hotel. Oh, I love it. I love Marshfield. Love Marshfield. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Bucks take a loss last night. Series tied at a game apiece. Chris Middleton down with an MCL sprain in the knee, which looked a little bit scary. Bobby Portis, he gets a bloody face. You got George Hill, he is down with an abdominal strain. They're a little bit banged up. Last year, the teams that the Bucks were facing, they were banged up. And the Bucks, a little bit of luck, a little bit of health. We always talk about that. Got to be good. You got to be lucky. You got to be hot. You got to be healthy. Right now, the Bucks aren't real healthy, and guys are going down right now. This might not be the easiest thing to overcome. If they win it, they certainly earn it. Brett says, any update on Portis playing? I think Portis is going to play. They'll probably, I don't know if it required stitches or just some butterfly tape, but my assumption is he'll play. Probably play with a mask or something to cover that up, but my assumption is he'll play. And how he didn't get fouled on that, how there wasn't a foul called, I agree with the refereeing last night, but there was times that I thought it was bad both ways. I'll say this, though. When Drew Holiday blocked the shot and they had to go to the videotape, that was as clean gets. I don't know what the official saw, but I could see it from sitting at home. I could have seen in my house. Ben, you've been in my house, the guest bathroom. The guest bathroom in my house, when I went downstairs to watch the game today, the guest bathroom in my house, there's like the main level, and it's all open concept, right? So you got the kitchen, the breakfast bar, leads into the living room, and I got the TV mounted on the wall and the fireplace, the whole thing. Okay. From my bathroom, when you leave the door open and you're sitting there doing your morning constitutions with the door open, I could see that he didn't touch him. And it was all ball. How in the hell the official standing next to him missed it, I have no idea. Just an FYI. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
Add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
And is there panic? Do you believe the Bucks, after watching Game 1, the struggles in Game 1, and now last night's loss, Middleton banged up, do you now have any panic in you at all? Are you starting to go, because I believe tomorrow night's game down in Chicago is, would you consider it now a must-win game? Would you consider it now a must-win game? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Find us, hit us up. 877-867-1670. Do you consider tomorrow night a must-win game? Rick says Giannis got to start flopping like DeRozan. Almost every shot DeRozan shoots, he's always acting like he's getting fouled, and the refs go for it half the time. It's an art, but Giannis goes through contact. Seldom does he get calls like DeRozan. Giannis is all, because Giannis starts that giant step from just about the free throw stripe and plows over people, he doesn't get calls. They look at him as a guy that we're not going to call the charge on. He muscles up most of the time. I agree with you. Giannis has guys draped on him a majority of the time and doesn't get the call. I mean, draped on him, and they don't call it. You're right. They don't call it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Do you consider tomorrow night a must-win game? Elsewhere, the Brooklyn Nets, their 3-time All-Star Ben Simmons, he is going to make that season debut tomorrow night in Game 4 in Boston. Or I take that back, on Monday. Game 4 on Monday versus Boston. And that'll be back at home. That way, Ben Simmons, as Ben, he doesn't like to play on the road and have people yell at him. So he'll make the home debut for the Nets in Game 4, which will probably be the elimination game. Wouldn't you figure?
Yeah, I think bringing him back for this type of playoff series at all is a horrible decision. Because he showed the last time he was on the court, he was scared to shoot the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So what'll it now be?
Yep.
Hasn't played. And these teams aren't practicing right now, right? They're not going through 5-on-5 full court practices.
No. You're doing shoot around, you're doing a few walkthroughs, and that's about the extent of it.
Yeah, so how much is he really getting in? I think he's physically ready, but mentally, throwing him and then Game 5 in Boston, I don't see any way that goes well.
Nope. I pray it doesn't. I would not in any way, shape, or form lose sleep if, say, they did not find their way out of the first round of the playoffs. I thought they would be the dangerous team, but it looks more and more to me like the Celtics are that's the dangerous team. Celtics are playing with a head of steam right now, and they're just playing good team basketball. Just from what I've watched. They're just playing good team basketball. I mean, obviously hitting shots, and they're double teaming and at times triple teaming KD, which left Kyrie open in Game 1, which is the reason he kind of went off with 39. But they're just basically saying, "Hey, look, one of you two, you're both not going to beat us, but one of you two will go up against you." And that's what they're doing. They're trying to take basically KD out of it best they can. 877-867-1670. But now they're going to get the mighty Ben Simmons back. The mighty Ben Simmons is going to make his return. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. Again, 877-867-1670. This one is from Taylor. Taylor says, I believe Giannis also has to start flopping. You see DeRozan do it. You see Caruso do it. These guys all the time going to the ground, looking at the ref, throwing their hands out, and the refs are blowing the whistle the very next time down the court. Giannis has got to start doing it as well. I've seen Giannis plead. I've seen Budenholzer plead. Like, my guy is getting beat up. Why is he not getting any calls? And I agree with it. I agree. This one's from Jacob, who says, for me, I really believe the game tomorrow night is a must-win game for me. It's going to help me as a fan as well feel a little bit better. Plus, winning on the road is tough, but it can be done. But the Bucks will have to play with more energy and intensity without Middleton. Here's the other thing. They always say, the old adage is, you don't have a real series until somebody wins on the road. Right away, you got the Bulls winning on the road. And the Bulls now have home court advantage because they got that road win. Think about that. So the Bulls, the Bulls get another one. Oof. I think tomorrow night, I'm not going to say it's a must win, but it's real close. First of all, for the Bucks to have my prediction of 4-1 come true, they got to win. Just for my own personal self. But I think tomorrow night, if the Bucks come out, if they play really well, but they just don't have enough firepower without Middleton, okay, I can understand that. But if they come out and play with that almost lethargic intensity, they don't value the possession, they turn the ball over, they look sloppy, they don't look as if they're even running an offense. Like last night, there were times they weren't even running an offense. And Giannis is constantly bringing the ball up the floor. Constantly. Every now and then he'll pass it off. A lot of the time, though, he brings it up top of the key and then off he goes. He's going to go off to his left. He goes off to his left, dribbles, drives, plows through people, and then goes up for the shot. So I'm hoping tomorrow night you see a lot more, I don't want to say necessarily set offense, but a little bit better shot selection coming off of screens, coming off of ball movement. Stuff like that. 877-867-1670. A lot going on. Brewers got a sweep. Deebo Samuel wants out. More and more people coming to me yesterday after the show. Can you believe Deebo Samuel? He's going to come here. They're saying that the Packers are going to get him. The Packers are one of the teams that are going to pick up Deebo Samuel. They've got $15 million to spend. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hang on to your pants. Just throwing it out there. Hang on to your pants. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Tonight's the night. I am heading outside. I'm going to do a little grilling. You know what I want tonight? I am craving like crazy. I went down to Robert's Specialty Meats. I picked up some of those really thick cut pork chops. So I got some of those. And again, you want to go get great meat, pork chops, New York strips, the Al Capone roast, whatever it may be, whatever your heart desires, and at a great price, premium cuts, great price. Go see our buddy Paul Roberts, Roberts Specialty Meats, downtown Waukesha, right there on Sunset. Go to Roberts Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. That's Roberts Specialty Meats, Waukesha.com. But you know what I want to do tonight? This is what I want to do tonight. I'm going to take one of those cut pork chops, and I'm going to put some of the rub and the barbecue sauce from our friends at Pit Barbeque. Oh, can't wait. And I'm going to follow that up. So I'm going to have that on one side of the plate, and tonight on the other, I got a couple of stadium brats. I've got some sauerkraut. I was going to do it last night, but I didn't do it. So tonight, I'm going to do a bit of a twofold meat escapade. I'm going to do a little grilling tonight. Weather's nice. For those of you that are watching on the Bud Light live stream, you can see it. Weather's nice outside. Looks beautiful. Yes, I got a new pole that is off to the left side of the tiki bar. New pole, new stanchion up. All the signs, all the tiki signs are now up. So for those watching, you can see that. Love it. Love the way it looks out there now. Getting there. Got to clean it out, though. The pigeons have been resting underneath there all season long, so I got to blast that out. But Oh, I love it. Can't wait. Doing a little grill out tonight. Go to burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. They are veteran owned right here in the state of Wisconsin. Great guys. Greg and Ben and their families support them. They're veterans, former Marines, and they're based right here in Wisconsin, in Racine, Wisconsin. Go to burnpitbbq.com. Coming up after the top of the hour, Matt Miller from ESPN is going to be joining us, the NFL Draft Day guy. Going to talk with him a little bit about what the Packers might be looking at as we continue to try to gather more and more information for this upcoming draft and where the Packers' place is in it. Now, I do want to at least look at everything that's being stated regarding the Packers and Deebo Samuel. I have to admit, it is, and as I stated yesterday, if you and I, if we're sitting there at a bar and we're thinking about the ultimate, right? And you're thinking to yourself, man, if the Packers make this move, and oh my God, it would be fantastic. Deebo Samuel wants out. It's a natural fit. You know why? Well, he plays in the Shanahan system. Obviously, Matt LaFleur, a disciple of that, knows that system. Shanahan used him as a kind of a Swiss Army knife. Think about that in this Packers system. Flip-flopping at times. Aaron Jones goes to the wideout. Deebo Samuel's in the backfield. Wheel routes, all that kind of stuff, right? Think about the dynamicness of the offense. Then you bring in a couple of rookie wide receivers. You've already got Sammy Watkins. You've got legit offense. Here you go, man. Think about it. But then you start to think, okay, he wants out of San Francisco. And I didn't even realize this, and this was brought to my attention too. 1 year ago is when everything started with Aaron Rodgers. Remember the rumor about San Francisco making the inquiry? What would it take to get Aaron Rodgers? Would you trade him? Matt LaFleur's like, come on. Packers are like, no, we don't want to do it. It would probably piss off the franchise fans and such. And no, we're not going to do that right now. But then Rodgers gets winds of it. And Rodgers is like, yeah, I'll do that. I'm not happy with that organization. I wouldn't mind that. I'd go back to San Fran. And it never happened. But that set off the chain reaction that led all the way up until 2 days before training camp. Remember that? Can you imagine the Packers now calling, saying, okay, give us Deebo Samuel? Do you think San Francisco, 1, is going to go and do that after they wanted Rodgers last year? No. 2, do you think they're going to trade him to a competitive team in the NFC? No. And 3, yeah, the Packers have $15 million. I mean, you act like that's money that's in the bank. It's not. You have to have 6, 7 of it at least for the incoming rookies. So you got $15 million, take away 7. Now you're down to $8 million. Deebo Samuel was looking for $20 million plus a year through a contract extension. You don't have that kind of money. Now, if you extended Jair, but Jair's price just went up exponentially after Ward got that huge contract over in Cleveland. It as much as you and I sitting around a bar going, oh my God, they pick up Deebo Samuel, Sammy Watkins, you pick up a couple of rookies, Lazard, Cobb, then you got Amari Rodgers starting to take the next step. Oh my God. It's just, as an offensive thought, it makes your pants tight. You're geeked. But the reality of it is, once this big bucket of cold water starts to wash over you, you realize they don't have the money to do this. And they're going to need some draft capital eventually, right? They're going to need some. You want depth at edge rusher. You want a right tackle. You want to pick up a depth in the secondary because you may end up, if you don't re-sign him, you're going to lose Jair. You could franchise him, I guess, but you're still going to pay him a ton of money to that specific position. It just doesn't make sense. So Deebo Samuel, fantastic. The first player since 99. And just the third player in NFL history to have 1,000 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns reception-wise, 5 touchdowns running the football. He accounted for 10 touchdowns on the season, 5 through the air, 5 running the football. He became a legitimate threat. And he was returning kicks and punts against the Packers in the game at Lambeau. He became a threat in that area as well. Debo is it. I never say never. I never say never. Well, I shouldn't say that because I think I've said never before. I'm a liar. Very rarely do you ever say never. But I just, 99% of me, 95% of me at least, says this ain't happening. I think there's a modicum of hope that you think to yourself, okay, the Packers are probably sitting up there behind the palatial walls of 1265 saying, you know what? We're all in, man. We don't want to shortchange it now. We know we got Rodgers for the next year or two. What more of a commitment could we give our quarterback than saying, we're going for it, here you go. Here's everything you possibly could want. Here's every wideout. We're going to draft more guys. We've bolstered the offensive line. We're going to have Elton Jenkins coming back. We kept Devondre Campbell. We kept Rasul Douglas. We kept Preston Smith. We kept Kenny Clark. Rashawn Gary's coming up. We kept all these guys. We're going for it. Think about it. So if you're inside the walls of 1265 and that is your mantra, well, then maybe it's a possibility. I just don't know if you have enough money to be able to do it. And the next question would be, again, even if you want to do it, do you really think San Francisco, after all the ruckus of draft night, with the possibility, the inquiry of a trade, with everything that went down, do you really think San Francisco, not only trading him to a team in the NFC, but is going to look at the Green Bay Packers and go, oh, yeah, you hung up on us last year, right, when we called about Rodgers? And even though Rodgers wanted to come to San Francisco, sure. Now Matt LaFleur, after getting pissed off at his buddy Kyle Shanahan, now he's got to call Kyle up and go, hey, think we can get Debo? Come on. It's not going to happen. 99.9% of me says not going to happen. We'll talk some draft when we come back. Stay tuned. A lot yet to go. The Bill Michaels Show continuing, coming up right after this.
We'll do our job and compete.
The series now shifts to Chicago. Game 3 is tomorrow night at the United Center. Tip-off is at 7:30. To the majors, it's a sweep for the Milwaukee Brewers as they would take down the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-2. Brandon Woodruff, the starting pitcher, went 6 innings, allowing just 1 hit, walking 2 while striking out 9. And Rowdy Tellez would hit a solo shot in the second inning to get things going, while Keston Hiura would hit his first home run of the year, drilling a 3-run shot in the 7th to give the Brewers the cushion they would need to win. The crew is off today, traveling to Philadelphia. They'll start their 3-game series against the Phillies tomorrow.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Meeting with the media yesterday, Packers inside linebacker Devondre Campbell says with his new contract in hand, he wants to prove it's no fluke and wants to run through a wall for the green and gold. The Packers offseason program continues, and we're just 1 week away from the NFL's draft. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome back to the program. Hour number 2, the Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Going to talk some NFL draft as the Green Bay Packers have a couple of choices in the first round. What are they going to be able to get if they don't trade them away? We'll have to wait and see before it's all said and done. Joining us now from ESPN, Matt Miller is on the hotline. Matt, how you doing today?
Guys, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on. It's good to be back and to actually get to talk about a team that has a couple first-round picks.
Well, here's the next question is, do they get one? Do they get two when it comes to wide receivers, or do they package and trade up?
Yeah, that is a great question. I was talking about that on TV yesterday, actually, because I think we focus so much on, okay, they have 22, they have 28, where are they going to take a receiver? And I think we forget that this is a team that's actually loaded with draft capital this year, having 2 picks in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 3 7th-round picks. Those maybe aren't as valuable, but man, they definitely could. If a receiver starts to slip, look at it that way and say, hey, maybe we should go up and get a player, like a Jameson Williams, like a Chris Olave, both guys who I think would be great fits with their speed. But it kind of goes back to draft philosophy. Is this a team that will finally draft a receiver in the first round? It's been 20 years, so maybe it would be kind of serendipitous if they finally do it after, Javon Walker from Florida State been the last one. But that is I think you have to say first, okay, are you actually going to draft a receiver in the first round? And then from there you get to, okay, as the board kind of plays itself out 1 week from today, if the receivers are there in the middle teens, is it worth calling someone like the Houston Texans? Is it worth calling the Baltimore Ravens and saying, hey, we're willing to come up and get a guy? I think the good news for Packers fans is we spoke about that draft capital. Because there are not good quarterbacks this year, the asking price to move up really shouldn't be that crazy. Pick 13 on the old draft value chart is 1,150 points. Where Green Bay sits at 22, you're looking at throwing in a 2nd-round pick, maybe that one from the Raiders, and a 2nd-round pick next year, and you're up there in the top 15.
So I want to go back to Jameson Williams. There's a lot of teams that are talking about him. Some kind of indicate that they'd shy away because they want an impact player and they want him now. I think sometimes we hear a lot of things, and this, it's all crap. It's all smokescreen for trying to, kind of sway mock drafters, other organizations from thinking you're going to take a particular guy when really that's the guy that you're eyeing. But give me your thoughts on Jameson Williams coming back off of that ACL.
Yeah, I love Jameson Williams. If he were healthy, he would be the number 1 receiver in this class for me. I think he is, a do-it-all player. A good route runner at his speed is pretty rare. His ability before and after the catch to create separation. He's just, he's exactly what the NFL needs right now and what the NFL wants right now. And so I look at him as a pretty clean prospect. No, he's not Jamar Chase. He's not Julio Jones, but he's pretty dang good, right? I think he would be, up there with anyone but Jamar Chase from last year's draft class, in fact. So if he's on the board, I think you got to try to find a way to get him, even with the ACL where, before you would have said an ACL drops a guy out of the first round. I think now it's more like, hey, we're good with it because we know that he's going to be able to make his way back. I mean, he got hurt in January. I mean, he might be back by October. Mm-hmm. You're not missing that much time. And so I think that's the other side of it where you get pretty excited, like, oh my gosh, this guy might be back, sooner rather than later. And for a team like Green Bay, where you have serious, realistic playoff aspirations, you're probably more concerned about getting him for the second half of the season than the first half.
So we've talked a lot about, obviously, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson coming out of Ohio State. Tell me about George Pickens and your thoughts there, because I think that might be more realistic for the Green Bay Packers if indeed there's a run on wide receivers early on. It may be like a guy like Pickens, 6'3", 195, decent speed coming out of Georgia, playing in the SAC. He might be a guy that they go after.
I like George Pickens. I was finalizing some scouting notes today and wrote about him that I think he could be the most talented overall receiver in this class. Not like Jameson Williams is obviously faster, but when you put him in with, this entire group, it's unfortunate we didn't get to see him play a full stretch games because he got hurt at Georgia, to end the 2020 season. But he's savvy, he's very, very athletic at his size, 6'3", 200 pounds. I've heard teams like the New England Patriots, the Buffalo Bills are kind of all over him. So I wouldn't be shocked if he is a first-round pick, just depending on how the board falls, because of he's what you want. He looks like a number one receiver from a height, weight, speed perspective, from the way he seamlessly adjusts to the ball. He has the speed to be a vertical threat. It's all there. And it's also, I think you look at him, it's like, okay, what can you become? If we do clean up, I thought late this year when he came back from the ACL, I was like, okay, his routes weren't that good. Like, it was amazing that he was on the field. So, like, I'm not going to, completely trash a guy's route running ability because we're just excited that he's back on the field. But, he definitely has some of the most consistent hands in this class. And I think he has the athleticism to become one of the better route runners in this class. So if you wait until 28, George Pickens is definitely a value in that spot.
So with Matt Miller, ESPN draft analyst at NFL Draft Scout over there on Twitter. You can read his stuff there. Getting into some of the other positions, because I think it's interesting that the Packers, obviously, they need another tackle. They need a right tackle to be able to fortify until Elton Jenkins comes back. They need, if they can't re-sign Jair because the price just went crazy since Ward signed in Cleveland, they might have to find additional secondary help. There's edge rushers in this draft. Where do you think the Packers' next need or next couple of needs are after the fact, after they get that wide out?
Yeah, I think even at 22, you can look at a player like Kenyon Green from Texas A&M, who has experience at left tackle. He has experience at both guard spots. He was a 3-year starter there. He's a fantastic athlete, plays with power and poise. Like, he's a true plug-and-play starter who has, I think, Pro Bowl potential at right tackle and at guard. In that way, he does remind me a lot of Elton Jenkins when he was coming out of Mississippi State, of like, okay, where's this dude going to play? What we know is he's going to play really well. So I would caution Packers fans, don't look at this year and say, oh, we'll get a lineman in the second round. There is a serious drop-off at tackle, at guard, after the first-round players. At tackle, there's 3 of them that you feel really good about. There's a couple more that are kind of in the mix. At guard, there's 2 of them that you feel good about this year as sure thing starters. So I think that if 22, you get a guy like Kenyon Green. At 28, you get a Treylon Burks or George Pickens. And then with those 2 second-round picks, assuming they don't trade up, I think that's where you can find kind of that value at corner, because it is a deep group this year, to where you could say, okay, like, we're going to grab a Kyer Elam from Florida in the second round. We believe he could be a starter, or a Roger McCreary from Auburn in the second round. He has some starter traits. So I think you're better off trying to stack your draft class that way, right? Of, okay, night 1, we got to get a lineman, we got to get a receiver. Night 2, we got to get a corner. And then maybe you look at another receiver or a tight end and try to come out of it with 3 to 4 starters in this draft that way. That
was going to be my next question. The tight end position is in essence being used now as more of a receiver than it is just a blocking tight end. Give me your thoughts on a couple of tight ends that might be sitting there in that second or even on that third day when the Packers are going to be looking for another weapon for Rodgers.
Yeah, right now, I don't think a tight end will be drafted, and there won't be one in the first round. I'll say that definitively. The second round is kind of a maybe at this point. My top tight end is Trey McBride. He's ranked 57th overall. So we could see the first tight end come off the board very late. It is, I believe, a deep class in terms of starters. Yeah, McBride, Jelani Woods from Virginia, fascinates me with his strength and speed combination. Greg Dulcich from UCLA is a really good seam receiver. Jeremy Rucker, Ohio State, is kind of a throwback wide tight end who can, block, catch up the seam, be great in the red zone. So this is the year. If you're going to add a tight end position, I think this is the year you could do it in round 3, maybe even round 4, and get a starting caliber player, even with the understanding that the Packers are drafting at the back end of those rounds.
What do you think of Jake Ferguson, the tight end coming out of Wisconsin?
I like Jake. I put kind of a later round grade on him. I put him at 177 overall in the final big board update that I did. So, I mean, I think he has some starter trait. You can look at what he does as a pass catcher, and looks like what you want. From a speed perspective, it's there. From a quickness perspective, I think it's definitely there. I don't know that he quite lived up to, where he was ranked coming out of high school as like I think he was almost a 5-star prospect. But I think one thing that matters to me when I look at these tight ends, like middle round guys, is you're coming out of a pro style scheme. You were incredibly durable in college. You're very consistent. And because you were at Wisconsin, like you're a pretty good move blocker in terms of the run game. And you've been asked to run a solid number of routes on the underneath game. So you're going to come in a little bit more pro ready. He's not your prototypical Wisconsin tight end in terms of inline pass blocking, inline run blocking. But I think as a zone blocker, as a move blocker, that's kind of where his best fit is.
Talking with Matt Miller, ESPN NFL draft analyst at NFL Draft Scout over on Twitter. The other Wisconsinite, Leo Chenal, the linebacker, he's rated probably end of first, mid-second round type of pick, right?
I have him a little bit later than that. I have heard some opinions that put him in the second round. I think he's a tough player to evaluate in some respects because you really like the height, weight, speed combo that you're getting with him. I think some of it's going to be usage. How is he used? There's many teams that have certainly different opinions on him based on that. I think if you're a 3-4 team, you probably look at him a little bit differently than if you're a 4-3 team. But I like the kind of the total game that he brings, to the NFL. I thought he had, fantastic combine coming out as a junior. We obviously didn't see him at the Senior Bowl. But someone who probably more of like a little bit of a throwback inside linebacker, with the frame that he has, the way he takes on blockers. I think the other side of that, though, is what do you do in space? Like, can you be a 3-down coverage guy? Or on third downs, are you going to kind of rush? Because we did see him be a blitzer a lot. I was trying to pull him up where I actually had him drafted. To me, he's probably more of a mid-round guy just because I do have those question marks about what he's going to be able to do in pass pro. But again, if you're running a 3-4 defense, you like him a lot more than if you're running a 4-3 and need him to be, a middle linebacker who has to pass cover and isn't more of, kind of that old school thumper.
Give me your edge rusher. If the Packers say second round, they go after a guy to bolster that outside since they lost to Darius Smith. Even though Rashawn Gary's kind of come on, you got Preston Smith on one side. The next guy that might be able to fill the bill over on that outside opposite Preston Smith.
Yeah, it's tougher this year because I think with Green Bay, we kind of look at guys who have, a little bit of size for the pass rusher position. Preston and Darius Smith are not small guys,
right.
6'5", 270 for Preston Smith. This draft class doesn't quite have that type of edge rusher that fits the size mold. You could look at Logan Hall from Houston, who's kind of a tweener, 6'6". He's probably going to be about 275 is going to be his play weight. They moved him all over the place at Houston, but I think round 2 is about where his value is going to be. Josh Paschal from Kentucky is a little bit short for what Green Bay has done, but he definitely has the size at 270, definitely has the production. He kind of battled some injuries at Kentucky, but has turned into a heck of a player. So those would be kind of the guys that I would look at in terms of round 2 that would fit that mold.
Great stuff as always. I certainly appreciate the breakdown. Real quick before I let you go, I know that everybody's talking about Deebo Samuel, a landing spot for one of these teams. I don't think the Packers have enough money, quite frankly, unless they redo Jair Alexander and if they redo Dean Lowry. That being said, what would it take, do you feel, to pry away a guy like Deebo Samuel to 1, in the conference, to 2, a team that they started all the rumors with Aaron Rodgers with last year, and then 3, obviously, right, to put him in a Green Bay Packer uniform? What do you think it would take?
I think it's more than Devontae Adams went for, which was a first and a second. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where you start the conversation because of age, being younger. Also, you have that one more year at $4 million. It's very, very affordable. Now you're going to have to give him an extension, right?
Right.
But for at least this year, it's very affordable. So, but you're right. There's no love lost between those two franchises. So it might just be a hard no if you're John Lynch and they call.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's 99% of me says never, but as that 1%.
Fun to think about. But,
It's great. Can you imagine Sammy Watkins, Deebo Samuel, plus maybe a wide receiver or 2 in the draft? Then you bring in a veteran like Randall Cobb. You still have Allen Lazard, and then whatever Amari Rodgers amounts to, and you got Aaron Jones coming out of the backfield. That's something to think about. That gets you excited if you're a Packers fan.
It absolutely would. And you have a pretty decent quarterback running back combination there.
Absolutely. Too. Yeah, no doubt. Great stuff as always, Matt. I appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, pal. There you go. Matt Miller, ESPN draft analyst, joining us for a couple of minutes on the hotline at NFL Draft Scout. at NFL Draft Scout. That's where you can find his stuff. And I agree. Ryan hitting me up over on Twitter saying he's not coming to the Packers. Everybody just needs to calm down and wake up. I understand that. It is great to dream. It is great to dream. But the one thing to remember, and I know this yesterday when it came out, when Darlington posted it, and then Ian Rappaport had it numerous times. Deebo Samuel, one of the things he's looking to do is get out of San Francisco because he doesn't want to be a running back and take the beating anymore because he thinks it's going to shorten his career. He wants longevity via contract, and he wants to remain a wideout. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you start thinking about that, because would he even want to go into the same system that they're running out there in San Francisco and be used in the same way? The answer most likely is no. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Looking for a place to go this weekend? Enjoy yourself, sit back, relax, all that kind of good stuff. Check out our friends at The Nice Ash, theniceash.com. That's theniceash.com, 323 West Main Street. They've got a great selection of not only cigars and hookahs, but also great selection of whiskeys and bourbons and scotches. And oh, so good. So good down there. Plus entertainment coming up on the weekend, tonight, tomorrow. Saturday night as well. Stop down, check out a game over the weekend. Want to catch the Brewers, want to catch the Bucks tomorrow night. Good stuff down at our friends at theniceash.com. That's theniceash.com. That's theniceash.com. Here's a little bit of a note. At what point does Vegas get a Major League Baseball team? The Las Vegas Aviators, which is the Las Vegas A's, are drawing larger home crowds than the Oakland A's, which is the Las Vegas Aviators are the minor league affiliate to the Oakland A's. At what point does Oakland lose their baseball team to? Out in Oakland, the Athletics beat the Baltimore Orioles 2-1 in front of a crowd of, get this, 3,748. The smallest crowd since 1980. The crowd size at their minor league affiliate out in Vegas, 5,607. That's embarrassingly bad. That's embarrassingly bad. At what point do the A's move and get out of that dump? Oakland has such an incredibly rich tradition. And it's not like the A's are bad. They're only a game back behind the Angels right now, 7-6 on the early portion of the season. They've been scoring runs. As a matter of fact, they're one of the better teams when it comes to scoring runs. The Cleveland Guardians are plus 22 in run differential. The next best team in the American League thus far is the Oakland A's at plus 14. Think about that. And yet they can't draw more than 3,700 people. At what point does Oakland finally lose that team? It's beyond belief that the Oakland A's, such a storied franchise, has fallen that far off the radar. It's like out in Oakland, they just gave up. They just figured, to hell with it. We don't even care anymore. But just throwing it out there. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. In the meantime, the Brewers get a nice win yesterday. And Corbin Burns, stellar. Brewers still a half game behind the Cardinals, but now 8-5 on the season. They've won 4 straight. Speaking of run differential, think about this. Because the Dodgers were tops last year. The Dodgers were like plus 200. The Dodgers are already off to a plus 32 start on the season. Dodgers 9-3 so far. The Giants, again, 8-4, plus 23 when it comes to run differential. The St. Louis Cardinals, plus 20. The Mets leading their division right now, 9-4 on the season, off to a fast start, plus 26. The Brewers, half game back, are -3. -3. Sometimes run differential doesn't mean a hill of beans because you can get some blowouts, and it does change the perception of things. But just interesting. Brewers get a 4-2 win yesterday, a solid win. Brandon Woodruff, as we were sitting here talking yesterday, did end up giving up one hit. One hit came in, I believe, the 6th inning. Only pitched the 6th inning. 6 innings, 1 hit, couple of walks, 9 strikeouts yesterday, and throws 95 pitches. Ben, 95 pitches through 6 innings. When you have that many strikeouts, your pitch count is naturally going to go up. And I know there were people, even people yesterday, saying he's only given up 1 hit. How can you pull a guy with a 1-hitter? I think they did the right thing. 95 pitches on the day. Boxberger comes in, throws a clean inning, even though he gave up the 1 walk. The only guy that struggled yesterday was Suter. Suter struggled 9 pitches, 7 strikes, but ended up giving up 2 runs on 2 hits. Had 1 strikeout yesterday, and did not look good. You had to have Devin Williams come in and pick up a third of an inning to get an out. Which, by the way, he still struggled. He did get the strikeout, but he gave up the base knock. And in addition to that, he gave up another walk where he let one get away. 17 pitches in a third of an inning for Devin Williams, who continues to struggle finding the plate. And then Josh Hader comes in and just mows him down. That's pretty much it. Gets his 6th save of the season. But I did have some people that said, "Are you kidding me? How can you pull him out with a one-hitter?" No problem with it. You and I are on the same page on that, though, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, even if he had a perfect game at that point, I think 95 was a good number. The previous two starts he had, he went 89 pitches and 89 pitches.
Yeah.
And you saw Corbin Burns went from 83 to 97 and then to 107 earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're ramping him up. And we heard Woodruff talk about it. It's like, Zach Wheeler in Philadelphia didn't have an offseason, barely had a spring training. Now he has 4 miles an hour off his fastball,
right,
and he's struggling. Like, this is the weirdest start to a year that these guys are going to face. So, I mean, even if he had pulled him earlier than that, I'm fine with it. As long as you win the baseball game and you don't make a decision that will change your chance to win, then I'm cool with it.
By the way, yesterday, Keston Hiura going opposite field, yard yesterday, brings in 3 RBIs, had a couple of strikeouts, had the 1 hit, scored a run, obviously, on the home run. But Keston Hiura is showing a little bit of power. I mean, don't get me wrong. The average is still sitting at 222 and the on-base percentage at 333 and slugging percentage is under 400, I believe. But nevertheless, I mean, at least Keston Hiura, we saw a little bit of power out of him yesterday. So that was nice to see. But the Brewers get a win. Brewers off today and then in Philadelphia coming up over the weekend, a weekend series against the Phillies. So, and that's which will be taking place coming up tomorrow night. That's, by the way, a 6:05 start tomorrow night. So you've got the Bucks and Bulls and the Brewers and the Phillies all going at it basically the same time tomorrow night. So an action-packed Wisconsin sports evening coming up tomorrow. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Yeah, Mark says, what about Keston Hiura's bomb, a 3-run blast to the upper deck? Hey, if he hits like that and brings his power back, I mean, it is nothing but roses for Keston Hiura. Good for Keston Hiura. Yeah, I think we're all rooting for him at this point, aren't we? Right? We're all rooting for him. You hope that he comes back. I mean, think about this, and you went through this yesterday, Ben. Rowdy Tellez, for only making a few $1,000,000, he's your leader, man. He's the guy that's roping. He's got a 920 OPS. He's getting it done. Big time. Omar Narvaez, not bad, hitting the ball. He's only got 1 dinger on the season, but, you know, he's a guy that's had 1 extra base hit. He's got, as of right now, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember how many RBIs he has. I think he's got like 3 or 4, but he's been consistent. Caratini's also been consistent when he's had opportunities. Between the two, they've got a couple of dingers. Hunter Renfroe has a homer. Keston Hiura now has one. Yelich has that bomb but Yelich again struggles, has the 1 bomb and then fades away. His average now sitting at 195 with a 699 OPS. His on-base percentage, not bad because he is taking some walks, but this is very scary, reminiscent to what we saw last year, where early on in the season he was swinging wildly or taking a lot of pitches that were strikes. Now he's at least seeing the zone better, but this is reminiscent of the way the season ended for him, going to August and September, where, yeah, he was getting on base with some walks, but when it came to actually hitting the baseball and getting on base consistently because of that, it was somewhat non-existent. Batting average right now down to 195. Colton Wong, 191. Willie Adames, 167. Lorenzo Cain, 167. Those guys, between Yelich, Wong, Adames, and Cain, not one of them is batting over 200 right now. Not one of them has an OPS over 699. And Yelich, by the way, is the only guy with an OPS of 699. The rest of them are 450 to 520. That's it. Boy, that portion of your lineup is struggling terribly. Now, think about it this way. You're sitting there only a half game behind the Cardinals, and the upper portion of your lineup, the guys that are the mainstays, the guys that you're relying upon, they're hitting horribly, and you're still able to score runs, and you're still getting good pitching. So you've got a lot of reminiscence from last year right now, and I think we're all probably going to church on Sunday and saying a few novenas, hoping that the offensive firepower starts to come back for the top of the lineup. But right now, you also go and you drop to your knees and you say, thank you, God. Because your team is only a half game back. And for the most part, offensively, you suck. With the exception of just a couple, that's it. You suck. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Rowdy Tellez leading it right now. He is your clubhouse leader on this team. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Got a lot more of the Bill Michael Show. It's coming up next.
This is the Bill Michael Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How are we looking? Bill Michaels Show back on the air. Glad to have you. Hey, our friends at the Four Seasons Island Resort, in this month, you only got a couple of weeks left, but they have all kinds of different things going on. Think about this. The Four Seasons Island Resort, first of all, they've got the Mother's Day brunch coming up. So if you want to do something cool with mom, take the kids, get yourself one of those rooms up there, the suites, and the kids, a huge pool, go play. And hang out, sit in a hot tub, have yourself a beverage or two, head into the sauna, just go, oh, man, those kids are driving me crazy. Let them hang out in the pool. Hang out, just enjoy the day. Take them over to the ice cream parlor, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor. Get them some ice cream. Get them all settled down. Take mom to the Mother's Day brunch in the Diamond Room, and you are good to go. But right now, let's just say you don't want to go up on Mother's Day weekend because it can be crazy with kids. So you want to get in just you and your significant other. You want to do a little bit of, bow, bow. So this is what you do is right now they have available a package that you can purchase. It's basically $600 a couple, $600 a couple, but you got to get in right now. $600 a couple. And what you do is you call Barb, B-A-R-B, Barb at The Four Seasons, WI.com, The Four Seasons, Wisconsin.com, or just call Barb, 715-324-5800. $600, 2 nights, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, domestic beer, house wines, all that stuff. It's all included. It's an all-inclusive package for you and your significant other. That's the Four Seasons Island Resort. I love this place. It's got some ghosts up there. It's where Al Capone and the mob gang used to go. Not that I would glorify that, but, it's kind of the romance of the mob from days gone by. They hang out up there on the island, walk through that place, see the history. It's all inclusive right there on the island. You got the Boundary Waters bar downstairs. You got the nice lounge upstairs, the Diamond Room. You got the Lily's Ice Cream Parlor. Like I mentioned, the pool. They've got spas. You can make spa appointments and such. $600 per couple. Well, taxes and stuff, but you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, a couple of nights stay, the drinks, the wines, everything right there. Go to thefourseasonswisconsin.com, thefourseasonswisconsin.com, or call our girl Barb right now, 715-324-5800, 715-324-5800, 715-324-5800. Hit her up. You're good to go. Great place. That is thefourseasonswi.com. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Find us if you'd like. This is from Rick, who said, Oakland wants a new stadium, but it seems crazy being people in Oakland can't afford a game, and those from the outside the city avoid driving through there because of the traffic and the crime. I know, I get it. It's tough. Being right across the bay from San Francisco, where San Francisco has so much money, and it's stupid money. The taxes are crazy. The homeless is crazy. The money is crazy. But yet they're going to San Francisco Giant games in droves. And yet Oakland, right across the Bay Bridge, they can't even get somebody to acknowledge a fart in the seats, man. There's nobody there. No, I 100% agree with you. Nobody there.
I mean, in their defense, the stadium is a dump.
It's a dump. It's an absolute. It's like what happens? Is it, do you put the cart before the horse and get a new stadium and fans are going to start showing up? Or do you say, no, we're not coming, and therefore you don't spend the money on a stadium, but you're going to lose your team? You already lost the Raiders. Does Oakland really? Because Oakland's not traveling. The San Francisco people very rarely travel to Oakland, and Oakland people, they love to travel into San Francisco, but they can't afford it. It's a double-edged sword, and it's amazing because it's just divided by this small inlet of water. And the Warriors, I forgot about that. Andrew says, don't forget about the Warriors. The Warriors moved too. The Warriors moved over to San Francisco. And the A's are probably going to leave in a few years.
The stadium has also become overrun by feral cats. I'm not sure if you saw that story.
I did. That stadium has been a dump for years, and they have kind of given up on it. They know it has no shelf life left, and they've kind of given up on trying to eradicate the problems of that stadium. The only time you're going to see that stadium full is if this is almost like the movie Major League, where they try to be so bad that they have the ability to draw so little interest that they can just move. But where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them go to Montreal, because everybody brings that up, like Montreal wants a team back. I don't want to see that. They would probably end up out in Las Vegas.
There's some thoughts about Nashville.
Nashville wants a team, yes. And then that would, in essence, affect the Brewers, because the Nashville Sounds, who are already down there, they would then lose that franchise, because you would put a Major League Baseball franchise in, and you're not going to have the Sounds and a Major League Baseball franchise competing for the same ticket. So you wonder what would happen there, because the Brewers just finally got that affiliate back. But yeah, Nashville would like a Major League Baseball team too. I got to think, though, that Las Vegas, being now the major league city that it is, they've got the NHL and they've got the NFL. At some point, it's either going to be Major League Baseball or the NBA that's going to go into Vegas. One of the two. I can't imagine Vegas is going to be real quick to say, hey, we're going to build another mammoth stadium, but I got to think there's enough money out there to do so. They've already proven they can pull off a beautiful, beautiful stadium in Vegas. That whole Roomba looking thing that the iRobot that thing has out there is magnificent, where the Raiders play. And that arena they built for the Golden Knights is fantastic. But yeah, it's the Bay Area just not supporting the Oakland A's in any way, shape, or form. It's the Giants or nobody, and the A's have become an afterthought. Which is
to also defend the fans, all 1,000 of them that were in attendance. They traded away every single good player they had this offseason.
Right.
Like every good player.
And that's why you kind of look at them and think, first of all, they're kind of hanging around. But secondly, you're like wondering, what is ownership doing? I mean, granted, ownership's probably in the same boat as, say, Cincinnati. Cincinnati got rid of everybody that was worth a damn. And Cincinnati's got 2 wins. They are on pace to a 2-19 month. Cincinnati is. They suck. They are just awful. But Oakland is at least above 500. They're only a game back. So
Cincinnati is a dumpster fire right now, but man, have you seen Hunter Green pitch?
Very good. They've got some bright spots. Here's the problem. Did you hear what Castellini, the young Castellini, said on opening day?
No.
Oh my God. So for those that don't know, look, growing up there, opening day is unlike anything. I mean, here it's the event of tailgating. There they have a parade, the Findlay Market Parade. They shut the city down, and a parade comes right down from what was the old Findlay Market. It was kind of the old farmers market. Back in the day, before Cincinnati was a metropolis, you used to bring all the cattle, whether it was the hogs or the cows, the steers. They would bring them up on flat bottom boats up the river from the farms down near the river, and then they would walk them up through town, and then they would go over on Spring Grove Avenue near Findlay Market, and that's where they would take them to the slaughterhouses. And then they would have the farmers market nearby. That became known as the Findlay area because the Findlays owned the area and the whole thing. Anyway, long story short, Findlay Market has been this staple. When they built Crosley Field, from Findlay Market through town, they would basically have a parade where somebody was the grand marshal. They would bring the opening day ball, and they would parade through the downtown area, being the very first major league team ever. They would parade through the downtown area and deliver the ball to pitcher's mound. And that tradition has continued through Riverfront Stadium and now into Great American Ballpark. So they shut the city down, and it's a parade. And I mean, tens of thousands of people pour into the streets to watch the parade go by. It's a parade. It's marching bands, it's floats, it's support of the Reds, it's former Reds players, broadcasters. I mean, it's just anybody and everybody going all the way back to the Big Red Machine. So they do this, and then they have this kind of press conference and everything to open it up, and it's this big like stage where dignitaries address the fans. Well, the younger Castellini, Bob Castellini, the younger owner of the team, addressed the fans, and the fans are pissed. They're like, "What are you doing? You're saying you're going to rebuild, but yet you're signing guys you're getting rid of good players for bad players with the same contracts." So he said something to the equivalent of, "Who are you going to get to buy this team? Where are you going to go? Live with it." You know, he was like arrogant, like just a nasty, condescending SOB. And the fans went nuts. They were calling for boycotts. There's fans that literally went and burned their tickets in front of Great American. I mean, they turned on this family that had bought the team years ago and promised that they were going to rebuild it, they were going to build it correctly, and they were going to be competitive again. And they really haven't been. I mean, a couple of years ago when they had Sonny Gray, they brought in Moustakas, they had Votto under contract, they had all these different things going on. They thought maybe they'd have a shot, and they were competitive a little bit. But like the years gone by when they had Brandon Phillips and such, and they were in the postseason, and he was fighting with Yadier Molina, and it just, those days are gone, and they don't have any hope. So they just
the Phillies ended those days.
Right.
I was there.
Yes. So it was just, it's been a train wreck ever since, and their general manager is terrible. And we know what a general manager means to a team. Look at what we have here in Wisconsin. So it's been bad down there. And then Castellini came out and basically said, "What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? There's nobody's going to buy this thing. What are you going to do about it?" And oh my God, has that set off some backlash. I mean, so between Cincinnati and what's going on out in Oakland, you've got two franchises, one with a brand new stadium, beautiful facility, huge fan base that wants to support them, and one with a terrible facility, a fan base that's kind of like, whatever. And then you've got ownership saying, "Well, we can't afford it. You're not coming, so we're going to tear it down and look for another place to go." It's just, baseball's got some issues right now. And again, where's Rob Manfred? He's completely asleep at the wheel. But it's just, it's bad situations in both areas, without a doubt. And then then take a look at the Miami Marlins. They, you know, with Jeter getting out, they've got a fire sale down there. Their fans are completely just, they don't even care. They don't even know they have a team anymore. It's just completely crazy. 877-867-1670. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket, this is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Indy cars are running. Get your ticket to see them scream around the road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For event information, go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Breaking news regarding the Milwaukee Bucks. Here's some bad news. Dario Melendez, WISN 12 News out of Milwaukee, saying he's being told that Chris Middleton is out 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks, Middleton will be down. So they will be out without Chris Middleton 3 to 4 weeks with that sprain. And I said that before. I mean, I'm like, a sprained MCL, man, that's not easy to come back from. Not easy to come back from. And it looks like he's going to be down now 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks without cash money. Can they overcome the Bulls without Chris Middleton? Can they overcome the Bulls without Chris Middleton? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Can the Bucks overcome the Bulls without Chris Middleton? There you go. We've always said, I mean, there's some things you have to be a part of, and you have to be good. You have to be, lucky, but you got to be healthy and you got to be hot all at the right time. And right now, the health is ailing somewhat. Everything else, I think they're okay with. Okay, I think you're going to get George Hill eventually back. And I also think that probably in this next game, or maybe sooner rather than later, you're going to have Bobby Portis back. But no Chris Middleton. No Chris Middleton. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Can this team survive without Chris Middleton? Joseph said, yikes, or Janet says that, yikes, that's a big loss. Say what you want about Middleton, but they need him. I agree. They need him to shoot well. 100% agree. This is from Mark. Mark says, without Middleton, I don't know if they can beat the Bulls. The Bulls have just flat out been too pesky. Anthony says, I think this is a big blow. Maybe these guys get off their ass and play inspired basketball without Cash Money until he can come back. Thank God the series is always so spread out. Who was the girl sitting next to Aaron Rodgers last night? Who was that girl that was sitting next to Aaron? Was that Lazarus or Eden's daughter?
I'm not sure.
I don't know who that was. I think it was Mallory Edens, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Wes Eden's daughter, Mallory. But no, it was not Shailene Woodley. Just an FYI for those that were asking. So, all right. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up shortly. Right after a brief top-of-the-hour break, this portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at Quick Trip. They have those bacon-wrapped fillets, so good. Grilling season's upon us. Stop into Quick Trip. Pick some. Limit 5, by the way. They're 99 cents, so limit 5. But you can pick up brats and hot dogs and buns and condiments and go to the beer cave, get the G-rated beverages, or just the hot. There's so much at Quick Trip. And when you fill up, make sure you put in that phone number, that Quick Rewards card. And every now and then when you go to the counter and you throw those cheeseburgers up there and they go, you get a free cheeseburger. Nothing tastes better than a free cheeseburger from Quick Trip. I'm just saying. Go to Quick Trip. Great company right here in the state of Wisconsin. Proud to have them as a sponsor of the program. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is next. Hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show on this beautiful day. Sun is out, blue skies, temperatures are climbing steadily. I've got the windows open. I know. I get it. You get a little bit of that, the birds chirping in the background. I don't care. I love it. Makes me feel like we're even closer to a bigger and better baseball season. Like we're ready to actually do some tailgating without coats and parkas. You know, that's what I feel like today. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you're looking for some great service work on your vehicle, that's J&L Tire, J&L Tire out there in Johnson Creek, Jefferson area. You can check them out, featuring Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly Tires. Lyle and his staff are great people, philanthropic people. Go to jnltire.com. And if you are a big rig driver, you're an over-the-road driver, box truck driver, doesn't matter. If you got any issues, there you go. They work on everything from tires to brakes to trailers, trailer repair, you name it, they do it. Go to jnltire.com. So whether you're a soccer mom or a big rig driver, they got you covered. jnltire.com. This is, who's this from? This is from Wicked Dave. Wicked Dave says, without Middleton, they're not going to win. I know it sounds silly because we still have Giannis on the floor, but Middleton at times seems to be the very quiet glue that holds things together. Then he goes on, I don't care about all that. But let's go back to what your original statement was. I think they can win the first round. I don't know if they're going to be able to win the second round. I don't know if you're going to knock off, and it appears Boston's going to win that series with the Nets. I don't know if you can knock off Boston. Boston's too scrappy. They got too many wicked weapons. Ben, without Middleton, how confident are you the Bucks even get out of the first round?
First round, still confident. Even if they drop one in Chicago, I think Giannis can do enough by himself to bring them to victory in the series. When you play Boston, I think it's a different story.
Yep.
Especially, I mean, we saw last night the bench did practically nothing.
Yeah, the bench did nothing.
If they can't get Connaughton and Grayson Allen and those guys to consistently hit shots, Giannis can't single-handedly beat the Celtics.
8 points coming out of the bench last night. That's it. 8 points. Not gonna get it done that way. 877-867-1670. Do you feel that the Bucks are still going to be able to get out of the first round by beating the Bulls without Chris Middleton? Chris Middleton, if you're just tuning us in, looks like he's out 3 to 4 weeks. I said 2 to 4 over on my Twitter post. 3 to 4 is what they're saying now. Adam says, with or without Middleton, doesn't matter. They've got to play better than they have the last 7 quarters of basketball. 100% agree. Pinto says, no way they get out of there without Middleton the way they're playing. Middleton at least can hit some outside shots. Right now, it's an inside game for Giannis, and that's it. Brook Lopez is the only one doing anything behind Giannis. And you're right in the sense that you have got to get more out of Drew Holiday. They've done a good job defending it. I think they can still win. They just they can't turn the ball over. That's all. The way they've been doing it, they just can't turn the ball over. Not valuing the possession. Go back to that. Mark says, I don't think they're going to get past the Bulls. No way they get past the Celtics without Middleton. Davis says, the run is over. Sketchy Steve says, I don't think they're going to win a championship this year. Even if they do get out of the East, they're not going to beat the teams in the West. Although, look at it this way, without Devin Booker, and he's going to be down a while, without Booker and that hamstring injury, and who knows how he's going to be even when he comes back, the Suns have become very human again. And now the odds have switched over to Golden State. The Warriors are the favorite coming out of the West now. But I agree with you. I just don't think the Bucks have enough ability to defend the three. I've said that from the beginning. City Beach says, no way they beat the Bulls. Go Bulls. Oh, City Beach is a Bulls fan. And Bada Boom says, you're saying the Bucks are getting out of the first round? LOL, no way. Without Middleton, it's over. So there you go. A lot of reaction coming in. 877-867-1670. If you're just tuning us in, the news is Chris Middleton out 3 to 4 weeks with a sprained MCL in that knee. Will they be able to overcome? And in the meantime, Brewers off today. Brewers get a sweep of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, here's the question. As the Brewers, where they stand right now as far as standings go, and only a half game behind St. Louis, not hitting the ball, the top of their lineup, not getting the job done. They're going into Philadelphia, where the Phillies, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're 2 or 3 games under 500. And the Mets have been able to overcome injury to DeGrom and still been able to play solid baseball. They're 9-4. Phillies, yes, they're 5-8 on the season. But Ben, give me a preview of the Phillies series with the Brewers coming up this weekend.
So on paper, the Phillies are a great baseball team. However, on the field, they are a train wreck right now. They are one of the worst defensive teams I've ever watched play, but we kind of knew that going in.
Right.
All of the big ticket hitters are playing okay, but it doesn't really matter because the front end starters have just not done the job. Aaron Nola doesn't look great. Zach Wheeler's struggling. The bullpen has been They haven't found out how to win yet, I think is a good way to put it. They've been a lot of close games. They just can't find the timely hits, and they can't get over the hump. And they have a manager that makes mostly the wrong decision every single time.
I know.
So that plays into the other team's hands.
By the way, for those that are wondering, the Cardinals are on the road tonight taking on the Marlins in the final game of that series. And the Pirates begin a 4-game series down in Chicago with the Cubs. That is beginning this evening, 6:40 Central Time down at Wrigley Field. Then tomorrow, while you've got the Brewers on the road taking on the Phillies, Cincinnati is hosting St. Louis. St. Louis could get themselves a 3-game sweep in that series. You got, although Hunter Green, who's 1-1 in the season, only one of 2 wins that the Reds have, he's got one of them. Hunter Green pitches tomorrow against Steven Matz for the St. Louis Cardinals. And tomorrow for the Brewers, you got Freddie Peralta going to the hill with that ballooning 11.57 ERA. He goes against Ranger Suarez, who's got a win under his belt this season. Cubs will then be hosting the Pirates, and that's the way things shape up in the Central. Jose Quintana goes tomorrow for Pittsburgh. Drew Smiley for Chicago tomorrow night. So there you go.
Bill Green pitched in L.A. the other day.
Right.
He threw, I think, 80 pitches. 39 of them were over 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. That guy's got heat.
Dude's unreal.
He's got control. Now, when you get guys that throw over 100 consistently, the first thing you do is think, okay, if you don't have movement on your fastball, eventually guys will catch up to you. Who was the other guy that they used to have for a reliever? Started out as a starter in Cincinnati and ended up becoming a reliever. Then he went to the Cubs when they won the World Series. He was a Yankee. God. He got
Andrew Miller?
No, he got hit in the head in spring training, split his head open on a comebacker. Somebody over on the Bud Light live stream is going to know, or somebody on Twitter is going to know. Got it. Geraldo Chapman. Aroldis Chapman. That was the guy. That was another guy. He was a starter. Threw over 100 miles an hour consistently. He was throwing 110 consistently. And then all of a sudden one day, his fastball was just fast. And teams were catching up to it. Still throwing over 100, but if you don't throw it with a bunch of break on it, and it's hard to, when you have that much snap, it's hard to. You don't get as much rotation on the ball. You just get speed. And eventually they'll catch up to you. So we'll see if Hunter Green has sustainability in this league for more than just a season or two. But he's good, though. I completely agree with you. The guy's got serious heat. Go ahead.
One last thing on the Phillies, and this is going to bring joy to every Brewers fan out there. You are going to see the opposite ends of the spectrum on fundamental baseball, defense, and small things that win games. The Brewers do all of them. Like, we see great defensive plays. They take extra bases. They do all the little things right. The Phillies do every single little thing poorly.
Yeah. Speaking of things done poorly and sticking around baseball, did you see that the parachutists that jumped into the Nationals ballpark set off the alarm bells around the state or the nation's capital?
Yes, I did.
The Golden Knights, the Army of the Gold. Now, Nancy Pelosi is calling for investigations and to stop this, and which is ridiculous. The Army Golden Knights, they jumped into the Washington Nationals ballpark. Inadvertently, it triggered a probable threat to the U.S. Capitol because they did not map out their flight plan with the airport nearby. So it was mistaken for an unfriendly, and they were going to scramble the fighter jets. They didn't go ahead and get a hold of the control tower at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport when they said they were going to plan to drop some parachutists. So the U.S. Capitol Police, they weren't notified. So they set off the evacuate now aircraft intrusion alert for the Capitol Police. They issued the alert at the same time they saw the aircraft flying to the area. And the U.S. Capitol Police, they said they were tracking an aircraft that poses a probable threat to the Capitol complex. The evacuation happened for everybody that was still in the building, the Congressional building, the White House, everybody. Everybody was heading to the bunkers and the basements and such. And it's all because the Nationals had the Army, the parachutists, jump into Washington Nationals Park. So.
And the final score of that game, Bill?
Yes.
Diamondbacks 11, Nationals 2.
There you go. Nationals got drilled. The Army Golden Knights adding
insult to a national disaster.
Yeah.
I guess
they never alerted anybody that they were going to fly into this. What I guess it's a no-fly zone in that area or what have you. And they never alerted anybody. Had they alerted the airport would have given them clearance and let everybody know, hey, they're just jumping into the stadium. No big deal. Nothing to see here. But instead, they were scrambling fighter jets and sending our distinguished leaders to the bunkers down below. So the Washington Nationals can't even get it right when it comes to parachutists jumping into the ballpark. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. So, by the way, the one thing, if you haven't seen it already this morning, we're going to talk about it when we come back. I saw this morning and I kind of laughed, and I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn because what's going to happen. The police are going to be involved. There's going to be complaints filed. But should there be? Seriously, should there be? We'll ask that question. If it's on the field of play, that's one thing. But when you're just kind of hanging out and you're sitting there, should there be? I'll tell you what I'm talking about when we come back. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Buy more, save more with a patio door.
Wait, what?
Right now, at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, the more windows you buy, the more you'll be saving by adding a patio door.
Miss Della from Pella?
Please, call me Gina.
Okay, Gina Della from Pella? Like, I was told there'd be no map.
Like, that's okay. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin makes it easy. Now through April 30th, when you buy 3 Pella windows, you'll save $500 when you add a patio door. Buy 6, save $1,000 with a patio door. Buy a dozen Pella windows, save $2,000 when you...
add a patio door?
Correct. And along with 6 full lines of windows, traditional to contemporary, Pella of Wisconsin has financing to fit most any budget.
Awesome.
Buy more, save more with a patio door, but only through April 30th. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Always brought to you by our good friends at Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network and proud sponsor of the Big Units Poker Run. Our 15th annual coming up, and put it on your calendar. It is going to be Sunday, September 4th. We got some big announcements coming out. We are 2 weeks away from making some announcements regarding all of this. 2 weeks away. But again, this year it's going to be taking place. So please put it on your calendar. It is going to be Sunday. When you get to September, going to be Sunday, September 4th, and it's going to be a good time. So please put it on the calendar and get ready. It's going to be great. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Now, I just posted this over on Twitter. If you haven't seen it already. Apparently, if you haven't seen it, Mike Tyson went crazy ass on a guy on a plane. So he just lost his cool. It was a plane Wednesday night. And the incident all went down around 10:30. Tyson was slated to fly out of San Francisco to Florida. A witness on the plane says he and his friend were boarding Tyson's flight. The boxing legend, initially pretty cool with them and some other passengers. No problem, taking pictures together. The guy, he's... the reports were he was drunk. The witness tells everybody Mike took a selfie with him. He was patient with this guy. He kept trying to talk to Tyson. Tyson eventually just had enough of it. Said, stop, just leave me alone. The guy behind him kept talking in his ear. Tyson kept telling him to chill out. When the guy didn't, that's when witnesses say Tyson got up and whooped this guy's ass. This guy's now pointing at his head. He's all bloody. Sources close to Mike claim the man was extremely intoxicated, wouldn't stop provoking him, and then got his ass beat. My question to you is this. It's one thing. Look, you're in the ring. People are yelling at you. That's one thing. You're on the court. People are yelling at you. That's one thing. You're on the field of play. People are yelling stuff. That's one thing. Okay. When you're on a plane, you're just trying to come home or just trying to fly to your next destination. Plus, you're going completely across country from San Francisco all the way down to Florida. And you got to listen to this crap. Was Tyson, if indeed the way the story plays out, that this guy was just intoxicated, he was rude, wouldn't leave Tyson alone, Tyson kept telling him to chill out, was Tyson good with this? Is he okay with this? Every now and then, haven't we all been in a situation where we've seen somebody just be antagonistic, and you think to yourself, if somebody beats this guy's ass, I'm all for it. Back in the old days, it was an ass whooping. I'm all for it. Look, if you're not going to stop and you're going to continue to provoke, this is what you get. The old, hey, you play with the bear type of thing. Ben, what do you think?
I'm watching the video right now, and I think I'm with Mike here. It's what they were sitting on the plane, and he was in the row behind, putting his head through the holes of the seats to just like talk and talk and talk and talk. I'm with him there.
Yep.
I don't know. I think first of all, when I'm on a plane, I'm kind of in that mode anyway. Of if someone really gets under my skin, like they could bring me to violently defend myself. Is the wrong word. To violently retaliate against their annoyingness. I would never actually do it, right? But I have those thoughts in my brain sometimes because I hate flying.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. I think the kid had it coming.
I'm kind of with Tyson on this one. Now, what people are saying, what led to this is not necessarily the mentality of, hey, a guy's bugging you, but they all blame Will Smith. That now you can go ahead and just openly beat the hell out of somebody that's bothering you, which I don't agree with either. But this is kind of the, do you think anything happens to Tyson? He's probably going to get ticketed or arrested, or the guy's going to file suit. We all know that. He's going to claim he's got brain damage now or something, But you could see his buddy trying to stop Tyson, like, hey, chill. And in the meantime, Tyson's wailing on this guy. I mean, and this is first class too. This is not like back in the cheap seats. This is up in first class. But what was it, like JetBlue or something like that? Whatever airline that was?
I didn't see that part, but you bring up Will Smith. I would argue the person whose fault this entire thing is Juwan Howard.
Okay. I can see that. Juwan Howard actually went after Krebenhoff prior to Will Smith going after Chris Rock. So we're all in on that.
He started it all.
We're all in on that. I'm good with that. We'll blame it on Juwan Howard. But yeah, Tyson just pummeled this guy.
Out of the power ranking of people you should not mess with in a setting like that, Mike Tyson is at least top 2, right?
Yeah, you would figure there's a couple of guys you don't want to do that, do that too. Now, Juwan Howard and Will Smith both did it with the open-handed slap. Where Tyson, he just said, you're going down, son. You're going to be quiet one way or the other on this flight. You're going down. And beat his ass. And
one would say that's more respectable.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the reason you could probably say, had he slapped him, you could say, okay, you slapped him. Come on, But no, this guy's like, okay, you deserved a whoop down and you took it. Then again, this guy can say, hey, I wasn't even boxing. I got knocked out by Mike Tyson. I fought Mike Tyson. This is all I got. I got a couple of cuts on my head. I was a little bit bloody, but that was it. But yeah, Tyson he whooped up on him. Over the seat too. He's on his knees on his seat, over the back of his seat, pummeling the hell out of this guy. And he lands 3-4 punches, something like that. Finally he stops. Yeah, exactly. Kyle says, dude's lucky Tyson didn't lean all the way over, bite his ear off. Right? Said, look, I'm tired of hearing you, so you're not going to hear me. Here it comes. Whap! Chomp! Takes a chunk out of him. I'm good with this. I think we have become a society in which we tolerate and look at it as it's supposed to be funny, some of the jackassedness that goes on. Go back to the old days when you just took an ass whooping. You didn't do it anymore. You kept your mouth shut. But that's the kind of guy that he'll provoke, he'll do whatever he wants. And then the minute you do something, he's going to run to the police and run to everybody and tell his story on TMZ. I got so hurt by Mike Tyson. Well, you wouldn't shut your mouth. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Sometimes there's people out there that just deserve an ass whooping. This guy got one. And he got it in front of everybody. 877-867-1670. Not that I condone violence, but there are some people out there that just, would I do it? Mark says, would you do it? Depends. Depends what's said. You know? God, I've been in a couple of those situations. I will say this, though. For as much crap on Twitter and on Facebook and all that kind of stuff as I'll take, I've only had one guy ever say anything to me. One guy. Because most of the people that say that stuff, they're cowards. They're so Twitter cowards, it isn't funny. So I don't really worry about it too much. But I've kind of looked at them and just kind of laughed. I'm like, is this all you got? That's it? Now, it depends on what you say. You know, if you go after other people's family, wives, girlfriends, kids, stuff like that, you know, you go just, you never know. You never know, because there's a line you can cross. But for the most part, I pretty much just kind of, but you know it's coming. You know what they're doing. And I've even called him out. I said to the guy, I said, look, you're trying to get me to hit you so you can run to the police because that's what kind of a person you are. Oh, and then he, kind of walked away. But yeah, there you go. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Pindell. Go to Pindel.com, Pindel.com, a great machining company, manufacturing company right here in the state of Wisconsin. Good people over there. All you got to do is give them a shout. Go to Pindel.com. They're hiring. They're looking for good people. They're willing to train. They'll pay you for training. They overpay salary-wise. Overpay the employees. They also take care of you down the road. Great benefits. It's a great company. Go to Pindel, Pindel.com. Pindel.com. That is Pindel.com. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The NASCAR Series returns. Secure your tickets to see the big guns roar around the road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For all the racing information, go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Our buddy Dwayne at Dwayne's Cover It All. Want to remind you, the best canvas, upholstery, boat cover provider. Works with leather and such as well. And whether it's office furniture or maybe your boat cover, whatever it is, he can take care of you. 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119. Or go to Dwayne's, D-U-A-N-E-S, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where in the state of Wisconsin you are. It is worth it. 715-870-2119. 715-870-2119. Get a hold of Dwayne, and does really, really, really good work. Really, really good work. Let's do this. Let's go to the phone calls. 877-867-1670. Eric's on hold. Eric, welcome to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. What's going on, man?
Hi, Bill. How you doing? Just a couple things. One, aren't Mike Tyson's hands still considered deadly weapons, which I think wouldn't help him? And secondly, where were wasn't there an air marshal on one of these things, or just airplane security that should?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know if this was as it was boarding. I don't know if it was in flight. I don't know. I couldn't honestly tell you.
And I think you said Mike Tyson just pummeled this guy. I don't know how many punches, but
about four or five.
Okay. Well, I think one, and he should have stopped.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't get in trouble or whatever, and this guy doesn't sue him for. Well, he will try to sue him.
Oh, sure.
But because the guy obviously was an ass, and it's just. But Mike Tyson still is Mike Tyson, and he's a professional boxer. And even if this guy was a jerk, I think one punch would have been enough. But four is, when you're Mike Tyson, might be a little excessive.
Yeah, he appreciate the phone call. When you look at the video, I got the video up on both the link on my Twitter, and if you go to the Facebook fan page and find it. When you watch it, 3, 4, there's 4. And 2 probably didn't really land because his buddy is hanging on to him. One of those punches land because you can see the guy. I mean, the guy goes sideways. His buddy goes sideways. Tyson hits him with such a leveling blow. You got to watch the video to know what I'm talking about. His buddy's trying to cover him up. Like, hey, he's drunk. He's drunk. He's drunk. But I got to tell you, man, I'm kind of siding with Tyson on this. I'm siding with Tyson on this. There's just some just idiots in the world that just, because they're not going to get arrested. What is going to be the worst that happens to this guy? They're going to ask him to leave the plane. That's it. Nothing happens to him. Maybe he misses his flight, but he gets another one. But what happens to guys like that? Nothing. They laugh about it. I got thrown off a plane for irritating Mike Tyson, and they wear it as a badge of honor. Now this guy can go back to his friends and say, look, I kept mouthing off to this guy and he whooped my ass. I'm kind of signing up with Tyson. I hate to say it, but I am. 877-867-1670. Go ahead, Ben.
Well, maybe the kid was impeding Tyson's progress to his seat.
No, Tyson was already seated. Tyson was seated. This guy got sat behind him, started taking selfies with him. And you could clearly tell that in one of the selfies, Tyson's like, okay, enough. He's looking like, okay, leave me alone. And the kid, apparently, according to some witnesses, just kept going. There you go.
Or the kid tried to call a timeout midway through and it was already over.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, take a look at it. If you haven't seen it already, I got it over on the Facebook fan page. You can find it there. And I put the link to it on Twitter as well. You can find that there. The looking to the future says, hell no, there's an argument for self-defense by Mike. Amidst this pandemic, you can't beat up on somebody's face like that. Who knows? Mike probably felt like the dude was spitting in his face with all the talk about how close he was. There you go. That's a good point.
This might be a little side note, but I think of all the places in society I would not want to be publicly drunk, it's on a plane.
Yeah.
Because you're not going anywhere.
Have you ever been on a plane when a guy's a mess?
Oh, yeah.
I've been on a plane when a girl was completely hammered and just, she was loud. She was obnoxious. And it was like her husband just couldn't calm her down, nothing. But I was on one plane and I was coming back from Florida, oddly enough. I was coming back from Florida and it was like the end of spring break, but I was coming back from, what was I coming back from? I was coming back from something. It was business. And this guy was a mess and he was 2 rows behind me. And I was getting ready to get up and say something when the people behind me finally stood up and said, okay, enough. And there might've been an air marshal on that plane now that I think about it. But some of the airlines people came over and said, hey, we're going to land the plane. And if we land the plane at a different airport because of this, that's federal. And the guy, finally, his friends got him to knock it off. Because otherwise, I think there was not only the people on the plane that were the workers, the flight attendants, but I think there were some people lining up that were going to whoop this guy's ass too, because they just kind of had enough. But yeah, I've only been on 2 planes, 2 rides. The girl was just obnoxious. She was just drunk and loud. She had that cackling really high, that piercing voice that you're like, oh my God, you know. But the guy was a mess. He was rude. He was, throwing stuff, and he was, being nasty to the help, so to speak. It is what it is. Jacob says you never got onto a plane with a good jag on. He said it's the best plane ride ever when you sleep like a rock. I can't sleep on planes. I'm too tall. I can't sleep on a plane. That's my problem. And no, I don't. I'm not a big drinker when it comes to getting drunk. I get silly smiley when I drink one too many, but I don't get obnoxious, screaming, yelling like an idiot drunk.
There's also a significant difference between having a couple beers before you go on a plane so you sleep well and being severely intoxicated.
Yep. Completely agree. Completely.
I think I put plane rides. Yeah. I think I put plane rides with like theater plays and like a very important family dinner.
Yeah.
Of the places that I just don't want to be drunk.
I usually when I fly early or really, really late. Really, really late, I'll have a beer or two. Really, really early, I usually sit at the bar and I have a Bloody Mary. I don't drink on the plane. Some people buy beers on the plane. I don't drink on the plane. I never have. I'm usually a water guy or a soda guy, but I don't drink on the plane. For 2 reasons. One, I'm not going to pay that price. I think it's ridiculous. If you can't wait for a few hours to have another drink, you're a mess. But I don't drink on the plane because I know usually when I get off the plane, either one, I got to drive, or 2, I've got to get through an airport. I got to pick up my luggage and I got to move on. Even on vacation, I just don't do it. Even when I was taking cruises, I never did it. I'd wait until I got on the ship to actually sit down and go, okay, now I can. But yeah. 877-867-1670. John says the dude poked a bear. The bear responded. I agree. Brandon says most of those punches look like kind of love taps from a man like Mike Tyson. Yeah, only one looks like it really landed. But the guy is still like, you can't see really the drunk guy. What you see is his friend leaning over trying to go, stop. But, just the guys, they show the guy's face. Now, all of a sudden, he's sober enough to kind of show his face. Hey, look at me. I'm bleeding from Mike Tyson's punches. He should have to walk around with those punches and take a Sharpie to his face and draw arrows and say, this is what a dumbass I was and what the result was. That's the way I look at it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. 877-867-1670, 1670. What has this been? What'd you just send me?
So there have apparently been improvements to the gluing of hands to places because there was a protest at a Starbucks recently about vegan milk prices being higher than normal milk, yet they were able to glue the hands well enough that they are stuck on the counter.
Okay. So once you're glued there, then what?
You take a picture and put it on Twitter, and then I don't know.
That's just it. Then what? That's the thing is one. I never understood this. Okay. If you're going to glue yourself to something, let's say you glued yourself to the court and they can't get you out. They got to cut the cord up. Then what? I mean, because eventually, you're leaving. It's like the whole thing at Starbucks. The one girl has glued herself to the glass counter. Then what? You're going to walk around with a piece of glass attached to you? Then what? I mean, some of the things that people do is the stupidest things you could possibly do. You could protest outside. You could come in and give pamphlets. You could disrupt a little bit, I guess. But now what? Once you're glued to the counter, it's kind of like, okay, can you just step down here? And you can't. Once you're glued to the counter, it's not like you can pull your hand up and run to the other end and go, no, I'm going to block it here too. No, you're just now a prop. You're just now an idiot standing there with your hand glued to the counter. Nobody gives two damn. I would literally grab my beverage around you. Say, excuse me. And when they say I'm glued to the counter, I'd say, oh, you're an idiot, And I would just take my drink and walk away. If I had to let one go, I might, because they can't run anywhere. You're going to have to sit there and wallow in it. Me, I can walk away. That's it. I mean, like, you're an idiot. Okay, we'll keep working, Now, later that night, when you go to close up, you're going to say, hey, I'm turning the lights out. Talk to you later. Everything's locked up. You can't get to anything. You can't even open the refrigerator for your vegan milk. Talk to you later. There you have it. What are you going to do?
In fairness to them, they have found stronger glue.
Yeah.
Which I guess
good.
Is being resourceful.
Good. Good. Well, because what do? Do you then say, you glued yourself here. We don't have a responsibility for you anymore. You did this. We didn't. So we're just going to leave you sit here. Are we going to feed you? No. Sure, we'll give you food. We're going to give you a ham sandwich. Not going to eat it? Oh, that's on you. Talk to you later. And then just as time goes on and a week goes by, once the skeleton becomes the skeleton, the bones fall to the floor, you just sweep them up and move on. That's what I would do. Because there's other ways to go about it. Does that make me a cold bastard? Seriously? There's ways to protest. If you're a vegan, you put on a protest to where no vegans go to Starbucks anymore. Go someplace else. I don't know. Andrew says, wait till now. Watch somebody actually handcuff themselves to a player, a coach, or a referee. If they did it to a ref, it might make the ref a little bit better because then it's two sets of eyes on the same play. And that might not be a bad thing. To a coach or a player, then that's different. Can you imagine somebody running on the court and handcuffing themselves to Ben Simmons, his first game back? Oh, we'd get the arrest notification in the mail. One, Ben Kenny's not showing up for work on Monday because he's handcuffed himself to Ben Simmons. So Ben Simmons can no longer play in the NBA. 877-867-1670. Things are getting weird, man. Things are getting weird. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
They don't repair cracked helmets, cracked teeth, or cracked stadium seats. They do repair cracked windshields. Complete Auto Glass, windshield repair and replacement, windshield camera recalibration, and more. An insurance-preferred service provider with free price quotes and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you'll be happy to know you're dealing with a local, family-owned business who understand their Wisconsin neighbors. Complete Auto Glass, repair and replacement. Visit CompleteAutoGlass.com. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. The area. So stop downtown, get some great Italian food, and then pair it up with Cider Boys down there. Cider Boys, good stuff. I'm seeing more and more of that all over the place too. Many different bars and restaurants and such. Did you see, Ben, the post the Bulls put out last night about Aaron Rodgers? It says in their post on Twitter, AC, meaning Caruso, officially a better playoff passer than Aaron Rodgers. And it's the pass in which he tosses the ball over top, barely, of the outstretched arms of Brook Lopez, falls gently into Green's hand, and up he goes for a layup. But yeah, making fun of Aaron Rodgers last night.
I said the jokes were made. I said I didn't make any of them.
Right.
I'm actually proud of myself that I didn't.
None of them. None of them were you. But yeah, that was the joke, if you will, coming out of the Chicago. I mean, it was the Chicago Bulls official Bulls Twitter account, sticking up for their gang in Chicago.
There is something, though, I think, to Wisconsin teams being unable to score in games where Gus Johnson is on play-by-play.
How do you like how do you like Gus Johnson?
Oh, I love him. He's the best.
The only thing about Gus Johnson, and I do, there is something to a Gus Johnson broadcast that comes with an excitement. That I agree with. The problem is there is times that Gus Johnson gives you hype when it's not necessary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he is perfectly suited for college football, whereas he goes to the NBA, and there are moments where he might over-exaggerate, but I don't know. I'll take that with everything else he brings. Yeah,
I think Gus Johnson is a good broadcaster. I really do. There were times like last year watching the Michigan State-Michigan game. It was a good game, don't get me wrong, but there were times where it was just a play. And it's just like you thought the game was over. because it was just oh my God moment type of thing. It didn't. There are times where it's a little overhyped, but I do like Gus Johnson as a broadcaster. You are correct. Hey, another note. Did you see the Milwaukee Brewers are going to cover bar tabs? Did you read that story?
Yeah.
So the story goes, last week you saw Corbin Burns. He gave Brewers fans a little bit more to cheer about during their Thursday night win over the Baltimore Orioles. He covered the tab for the fans over at Left's Lucky Town, which is a bar down the street. It's in Wauwatosa. It's not far from the stadium. So apparently they're going to do this throughout the season occasionally. Remember, the Cincinnati Bengals started doing this, where they started delivering game balls during the postseason. As they won their last couple of games and then getting into the postseason, they picked certain bars where they dropped off these game footballs, and then they started giving the bar tabs and such to the Bengals. They were starting to take care of all the drinks in the house for like the first 3 rounds. So the Brewers have taken it and expounded upon it, and they're like, we'll take care of the tab for the evening. You come down to watch the game at a particular sports pub, getting you out and about again, we're taking care of the tab. Here we go. So the Brewers are going to continue to do this throughout the year. I don't know if they're going to do it just in the Milwaukee area, but it's called This One's On Me, a player-led effort that's going to surprise bar owners and restaurant owners to pick up the tab. How we looking? Free beer is always good beer. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next. Final hour of the Bill Michaels Show. Glad you're with us. Thanks for being a part of the program. 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels, or at Ben Z. Kenny, producing the program on Facebook, The Bill Michaels Show on Facebook. YouTube, you can subscribe over there. We always appreciate it when you subscribe on YouTube. Or even over at The Zone Madison, you can find us there as well when you want to download the app and listen to us. But YouTube, go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. 3 words, put them together. You can subscribe to the channel, our YouTube channel, and get the program there so often, and a great way to pay attention to it, watch it, all that kind of good stuff. And we are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Bud Light Hard Soda. It's a seltzer with a pop of soda. The loudest flavors ever, as they put it. Classic cola, cherry, citrus soda, orange soda. Bud Light, they nailed it. Nailed it. No sugar. Got it right. Tastes good. Tastes just like soda. You're good to go. That's from our friends over there at Bud Light. Glad to have them be a part of the program, as always. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Miguel Cabrera going for 3,000 hits today in a day game. Was watching over on the a lot of people are kind of tweeting about this, and this is coming out consistently. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. Although I have to be honest with you, I don't know if it's my cable or what it is. Something's screwed up. Seems like things are just screwed up right now. I don't know if it's affecting the internet at all. I know we had a few issues yesterday. We had kind of a weird outage, but today, yeah, it's not happening. A little bit screwed up. So if you are having trouble like myself, yeah, not what you want right now. Just trying to check out the MLB network, and it's been a little bit goofy. So anyway, we'll keep you up to date. Birdman says, without Middleton, I think the Bucks are done. Now, Middleton, if you're just tuning us in, Chris Middleton out 3 to 4 weeks with that MCL sprain. I don't know that I can sit here and honestly say that I think the Bucks are done, because I don't think they're done. Curry says Bucks in 5. Fire Steve Nash says, I think the Bucks are going to end up facing the Nets, but they're going to be without Middleton. Nets roll. First of all, let me say this. How are the Nets going to get past Boston? Boston's looked so good. And Kevin Durant, an offer from the field in the second half of that game last night. He got some better looks, and they started working the ball around a little bit better, but still did not hit. Did not hit. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, do it. Give us a shout. This is, let's see here. I don't know what's going on with the Yankees. Somebody said that the Yankees letter is going to be unsealed. I don't know what's going on with that. I'd have to take a look. Something was denied by the second court. Ben, have you been following this at all? Something going on with the Yankees?
A letter that has to do with the whole sign stealing thing. I don't know its exact connect. It either came from or was about the Yankees. Okay. I don't know exactly the contents of it, but recently they said it will not be sealed, or it will be unsealed.
It'll be
so
unsealed.
The public can read it. Maybe it'll bring up their wrongdoings in that whole debacle.
Yankees President Randy Levine saying second court's denial of his appeal to keep the letter private. He said, we're disappointed by the Court of Appeals decision, but we respect it. However, I believe that as described in my petition, this will lead to a lot of bad results down the road. So, okay. Well, I have not paid attention to it, to be honest with you, but it is, I guess there was just a ruling on this just moments ago, and so that letter is supposed to be now unsealed. My assumption is that they're going to appeal it, and it's going to continue. So we'll see. But I sometimes, look, there's only so much information we can possibly absorb in a day, and I'm not following the Yankees trauma right now. Although, if you do get into sign stealing, it is a rather ugly offense, so to speak, because it brings up everything from the past, going all the way back to the Houston Astros, banging on garbage cans. There was some thought that the Yankees were a part of this. There was some discussion about the Brewers being a part of this. I know that there were fingers being pointed and some rumors about the Brewers. And there were other teams that were involved. And Chris Sale recently was on a radio show. He would not get into the details, but said, if you think that it was just the Houston Astros, you're crazy. Basically, he said, no, it's not true. So he said there was plenty of other people that were out there stealing signs. Would not elaborate, though. Would not elaborate on who those people were. Yes, cameras are out. Miguel Cabrera going for 3,000 at the plate right now. And playing the Yankees. Looked at a first pitch fastball for a strike down the middle. But everybody's standing right now looking for that hit number 3,000, and he goes down on strikes.
That's one of those moments where I wish we all had the Masters policy of leave your phones at the door.
Yeah, when you look at the footage, as I'm sitting here watching the game live, now that I've gotten everything straightened out, when you look at the footage, everybody was standing with cameras, specifically behind home plate, trying to record the 3,000th hit. It's a monumental moment when any player reaches 3,000 hits. But is 3,000 now? Is 3,000 now? I mean, is it? Because to me, it's almost like with some of the guys and the way the game has changed, with the grip it and rip it mentality, is it 3,000 or is it 4,000 or is it 2,500 that becomes the high water mark now? Because guys take strikeouts so easily now, they don't care because of the grip it and rip it mentality. Do we care that 3,000 hits becomes a number, or is because 3,000, man, you get 3,000. I mean, they made a movie about it, Mr. 3,000. 3,000 used to be, you go to an elite club when you get to 3,000 hits. Is 3,000 hits still that high water mark? Or do you look at Pete Rose, 4,192? Do you say, you know what? Yeah, get around 3,500, then talk to me. Or is it 2,500 now? Because of the way people don't care about strikeouts, don't care about making an out. The shift that's come on. Because you didn't have the shift back then. 70s and 80s, you weren't looking at shifts. You know? Is that now the high water mark? Say 2,500 hits. Should we be applauding that more and more? Throwing it out there. Some things to think about. Ponder that today. This is from Wild Wild West saying the loss of Chris Middleton is huge. He seems to be the glue that holds the team together. Giannis is the superstar, but Chris Middleton is the quiet second to his Batman. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's an okay analogy. I guess. Although I'm not going to give Giannis the ball like they did with Embiid the other night beyond the arc last night for him to hit a big three because Giannis doesn't do it as consistently. You know? Andrew said it's going to be a long time before somebody gets to 3,000. That's what I think. 3,000 used to be this monumental moment. You hardly ever see it. Miguel Cabrera is about to get it. But is 3,000 or is it 2,500? Do you lower the bar? See, I don't think you lower the bar. I don't think you lower the bar at all. But when you look at guys like Robin Yount, Rose, Tony Gwynn, those guys that got to 3,000, that's an accomplishment, man. In today's day and age, they don't care. You're making an out, no big deal. That's why 3,000, what you're witnessing now, you may not see this again for a long time. For a while. Who's the next on the docket that's got the most hits in Major League Baseball? Ben, can you find that for me? Who's the next highest accumulator of hits in Major League Baseball?
Do you want to take a guess? So Pujols is over it. He's at 3,308. Right. Cabrera is at 2,999. You want to take a guess at the next guy? He's at 2,629.
Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, or are they too young?
Too young.
I don't know.
Robinson Cano.
Oh, I never would have got that.
Behind him, Yadier Molina.
That I could get, but I didn't think
2,000.
How many's he got?
115.
2,115. Okay. And Yachty's not going to get to 3,000.
Andrew McCutchen's at 1,837.
You'd love to see him get to 2,000 this year, wouldn't you?
That's a lot of hits.
Right? Think about that. How many years has Miguel Cabrera been playing? How many years of his career? 14?
2003, he was a rookie.
Oh, so more than that. God, 18.
He was on the Marlins team that won the World Series that year.
Yeah, that was Craig Counsell's team.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that. There you go.
It was my first baseball memory, actually.
Oh, really?
Well, it was Aaron Boone hitting the home run against the Red Sox, but then losing to the Marlins.
Boy, that was a game. That was a series. The unlikeliest of heroes in Aaron Boone, and it parlayed that into a managerial job with the Yankees. After he ended up getting the job on ESPN for a short period of time,
it's better than their old one.
You hate Joe Girardi. 877-867-1670. Yeah, Andrew says the same thing. He says it's going to be a long time before you see another 3,000 hitter. It is. When you start to think about the players that are close and they're coming to the end of their careers. I mean, the next guy that you would think probably would have a shot, but he's been banged up, Mike Trout.
He's not even halfway there.
Right. He's not even at 1,500. How old is he, though?
30.
Oh, okay.
He could play for a while, though.
Yeah, he could play for another 7 years if he stayed healthy.
Throw him a DH.
He could get to at least 2,300. Yeah, wow, 3,000 hit. That club used to be this unbelievably exclusive club, and you just don't hear about it anymore. Now people are like, is that good? What's his OPS? You look at grip it and rip it statistics. You don't see that in Major League Baseball anymore. Huh. Man. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Indy cars are running. Get your ticket to see them scream around the road course in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. For event information, go to roadamerica.com. That is roadamerica.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Called Sloppy Joe's out there in Hubertus, on Hubertus, as a matter of fact, in Hubertus, which is just east of, say, Holy Hill. Stop down there. That's an old Wisconsin authentic. Maybe go down there for the brunch or go down there for breakfast on Mother's Day, or maybe you take mom out when the boats are passing by and the weather clears up, out to a smoke on the water out on Okachi. Sit down, sit on the patio, have mom bask in the sun a little bit, enjoy the warm day, get yourself something to eat, give mom a good beverage, maybe a Bloody Mary. Say, Mom, how are we looking? There you go. Good place. Either place, as a matter of fact. Fantastic. Sloppy Joe's or Smoke on the Water. Really, really good stuff. Also, thanks to our friends over there at Wabam, W-A-B-A-M. And don't forget, this Sunday out at the Slinger Speedway, our guys, Joe DeStefano and Ryan DeStefano, going to be out there in the Wabam car as the race season in Wisconsin opens up this coming Sunday out at Slinger Speedway. But go to getwabam.com. That is GetWabam, W-A-B-A-M, getwabam.com, and see all the different products they have, like cleaning products or detail products for your motorcycle, for your car, for your boat, whatever it happens to be. They have those as well. Good stuff. The whole list of people coming in, it seems like overwhelmingly people are in support of Mike Tyson on the beatdown that he gave the guy that was behind him that was harassing him, and he was completely intoxicated, apparently. One guy says people act like Mike Tyson is a hero. Let's not forget he was convicted of rape and he's an abuser. I understand that. Not making him out to be a hero. In this that has nothing to do with this particular instance, though. This is a guy that was harassing the hell out of him. And eventually he had just had enough and said, that's it. I'm done. Talk to you later. And put the whoop down on him. So, okay, it is what it is. But no, we're not glorifying Mike Tyson in any way, shape, or form. Mike Tyson has certainly had a colorful life. That might be the best way to put it. A very colorful life. The good, the bad, the very, very ugly, all the things that he's gone through. Ultimately, he blames it on people that were around him. But, you know, you can only do that so often before you finally say, you know what, I've just made a lot of bad decisions and it's on me. And that would be true. This one's from the Joker. Joker says, Bucks are not winning this series without Chris Middleton. I think they lose this next one, and then they finally lose at home in front of their home crowd for the final game of the series, and the Bulls advance. This is where John Horst is going to get paid big money to make this team even better going into next season. How would you make this team better going into next season? The only thing that I thought, first of all, you had to make the move for Ibaka because you weren't sure if Brook Lopez was going to come back. So you had to make that move. But the only thing, and I know people kind of poo-pooed it at the time, but when they lost PJ Tucker, and I'll never forget it, when the move was made and they weren't bringing PJ Tucker back and he signs with Miami, and people are like, it's no big deal. He's a peace player. And I said at the time, I said, be careful, because PJ Tucker, some guys bring in energy. Some guys bring an enthusiasm, an awareness, a level. I can't explain what it is. Everybody's got somebody like that around you. Okay. Whether you walk into the office and you've got one guy in the sales force that's just got it, you know, just when he walks through the door, it just changes the atmosphere. You know, I think PJ Tucker was a lot like that. I'm not saying PJ Tucker's the reason they're losing this, but let's be honest. You know, PJ Tucker is a hell of a defender. He wasn't going to put up 20 points a game, far from it. But there was that guy that gave you that little extra something. And when you got the band together and you're looking to, kind of repeat, you always want to get better. You're always looking for ways to get better. But can guys within your own organization just get better rather than looking to move players to figure you're going to get better? And then in doing so, you thus change chemistry, especially when it comes to basketball. Basketball is the ultimate team chemistry sport when it comes to, and now granted, you have to have a superstar to get you over the top. But when it comes to that small group of people, baseball teams are bigger, they're cliquish, the game is slower. It's an individual sport played by a team. Football, there's an offense, there's a defense. Those guys don't usually hang together. You can get energy guys that can bring something to you, but it's not, there's so many parts on a football team, 53-man rosters. Whereas a basketball team, one guy can give you that mentality. And remember last year, PJ Tucker said, what I brought to this team was I taught them how to be junkyard dogs. I taught them how to be dogs. And there's something to be said for that. But also last year, don't forget, you had the toe on the line. You had Kyrie, James Harden, both going down. You had injuries. Chris Paul was coming back. He was still not 100%. You had a lot of guys that were banged up along the way when the Bucks faced those teams. I'm not making excuses because the Bucks won the championship. They deserved it. They got it. They won it. But this year, the Bucks are going to, if they're going to win it again, they're going to have to overcome that obstacle of losing a guy like Chris Middleton. Middleton, for those that are tuning in, he's out 3 to 4 weeks with the MCL sprain. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Go ahead and hit us up. This was from Mark, who says, how good can the Brewers be if their top 3 start hitting? Will this team win 100 games? When you say top 3, who are you specifically talking about first and foremost? Christian Yelich would obviously have to be one. Are you talking like Colton Wong and then say McCutchen or Willie Adames or Lorenzo Cain or any of the, is that what you're talking about? So, yeah, I mean, look, if Lorenzo Cain, Willie Adames, Colton Wong, Christian Yelich, if those guys begin to hit, and whatever your top 3 are, I don't know what your top 3 are, but if any of those guys begin to hit consistently, specifically Yelich, or give you some power, yeah, certainly it can change things. But think about this. Between Lorenzo Cain, Willie Adames, Colton Wong, and Christian Yelich, they have over 120, about 150 at-bats, 2 home runs, and 15 RBIs. That's it. Hell, Rowdy Tellez has 8 RBIs all by himself. But Christian Yelich, Colton Wong, Willie Adames, Lorenzo Cain, 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. Colton Wong, 2 triples on the season and a double. But and collectively, Christian Yelich is your best hitter at 195 with a 699 OPS. You've got a 191 batting average and a 518 OPS out of Colton Wong. Willie Adames hitting 167 with a 544 OPS. And then Lorenzo Cain hitting 167 with a 442 OPS. If you got anything out of a couple of those guys, I would say yes. Then things would be drastically different. Well, maybe not drastically. That's probably an overstatement. But yes, things you would go from right now a negative in run differential to a positive, even though you're on the positive side of wins. But again, you're relying heavily on your pitching, and you're getting some key hits. You got a couple out of Rowdy Tellez already this season. Obviously, you got the grand slam, which pretty much won you a game the other night out of Christian Yelich, and maybe that'll be the sign of better things to come. But Yelich he goes quietly into that good night quite a bit. Quite a bit. 877-867-1670. But I agree with you. If you get something out of those guys, will they win 100? I don't know about winning 100 games. I don't know, specifically about that, but, certainly you could get over 95, 97 games, maybe somewhere in there. But yeah, Christian Yelich, after hitting the grand slam, has basically been nothing since. 0 for 4 again yesterday with a strikeout. As a matter of fact, if you go through the top 3, Colton Wong, Willy Adames, and Christian Yelich, they were 0 for 12 with 5 strikeouts in that game yesterday. 0 for 12, 5 strikeouts, no walks. 0 for 12. Rowdy Tellez gets a big one. Renfroe, 2 for 3. Got a walk as well. Omar Narvaez, 2 for 3. Keston Hiura hits the 3-run bomb. He was 1 for 4. Jace Peterson got a base knock, and so did Tyrone Taylor yesterday. Once you got past the top 3 in your lineup, everybody else had a base knock or 2. (877-867-1670). So, yeah, to answer your question, I wish I could give you a more solid answer statistically, but, those guys right now just not carrying their weight. Colton Wong, too, that's a little interesting because last year at the top of the lineup early on, he was solid. He was kind of setting the stage, and this year, not so much. Willy Adames is a little surprising, but Christian Yelich, again, you're relying so much on him, and he's sitting below 200. Now you get a couple of base knocks in the next, 2-3 games, and all of a sudden you're hitting 230 because it's still early in the season. But at some point, we talked about this the other day, at some point, you're going to have to start moving up a guy like Narvaez and Keston Hiura and Jace Peterson and start looking at these guys saying, you know what, you need more playing time because they're the ones that are putting sticks in the lineup. And you're going to have to move Christian Yelich out of that 3-hole. You cannot have a guy hitting 195 in the 3-hole. However, think about this, though, for a minute. Since he is getting on quite a bit via base on balls, his on-base percentage is .333, and it's one of the better on-base percentages on the entire team. So as much as you want to look at it and go, we're going to move him out, and I've said it before too, so I'm as guilty as anybody. But when you look at the Brewers' on-base percentage, Christian Yelich is 4th best on the team. Actually, 3rd best. He's tied with Keston Hiura. But Christian Yelich is 41 at-bats. Almost the most at-bats out of anybody. McCutcheon's got 44. And Willy Adames has 48. Colton Wong has 47. Christian Yelich, 41 at-bats. And on-base percentage of .333. He leads the team in walks. So that's the reason he's probably going to hang on to that spot for a little while longer, because if he can start roping a little bit, he's still setting the stage. He's still getting on base. With a guy like McCutcheon ahead of him or a guy like McCutcheon behind him or Rowdy Tellez behind him, he's the guy that's on base setting the stage for some of these guys when they do finally hit bombs. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at the Wrestling Taco. They are right there on 84th Street in West Dallas. Stop out and say hi to Marcus and Nicole and sit down, maybe watch a game tomorrow night in one of those theater seats they have over there at the Wrestling Taco. Sit down in the theater seat, have yourself some tacos, big margarita, good to go. Or it's a great place for a small party. Just go in and get yourself something to eat, good food before you go out for the rest of the night. But say hi to the gang over there at the Wrestling Taco in West Dallas. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Great spot out in Oconomowoc County Highway K. I'm going to be heading out there on Saturday, as a matter of fact. Saturday. Going to Chris and Son's Little League game out in that area on Saturday. And afterwards, we're going to head over to Boondocks. Good place. Brews and barbecue right there on County Highway K. And looking forward to that. Good, really good food. But just go out there and hang out. Looks like Saturday is going to be the choice day because today when I get off the air, I'm actually going to pick up the motorcycle. I can't wait. I'm giddy. Picking up the motorcycle today. That is the one of the other official signs of spring. But going to pick up the motorcycle, and then on Saturday, we're going to ride out to catch your son's baseball game, and then after that, ride over to Boondocks and hang out there for a little bit, and then head back home. We got a going away party on Saturday afternoon, and then after that, it's pretty much, hanging out at the house and getting ready. We got a little bit of a gathering on Sunday, and then we're getting out of town on Monday. So I got to get the house cleaned up for the people coming over to watch the house. So, but I'm heading out to Boondocks. You can too. Boondocks Barbecue and Brews. Check it out. Great stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, feel free to go ahead and do so. Our buddy Blake says, hey, Unit, great show. All the Deebo Samuel talk has me inspired. If the Packers could get him, what do you think this offense could do? I think it would be the number one offense in the National Football League. Rodgers would be inspired. Blake, okay, we talked about this earlier. In a world in which you and I and Ben and others, we sat down as Packers fans in a bar, okay? We sit in a bar and we say, boy, and we're buying rounds at this point. We've all got a big mug in front of us, big Frosty, right? Some appetizers, big giant Bavarian pretzel, some curds as well. We're just grubbing down, We're like, man, think about this offense. Sammy Watkins on one end, Debo Samuel. You put Cobb, Lazard, what have you. Even Amari Rodgers. Then you got Tanyan, Then you've got Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, David Bakhtiari's back. Maybe they pick up an offensive lineman. Things are solidified. Rodgers has time to throw. Can you imagine the wheel routes, maybe end arounds, things that this team can do, flip-flopping Aaron Jones and Debo, coming out of the Shanahan system into the Matt LaFleur system, which is an offshoot of the Shanahan system. He would know it right away, get on the same page with the quarterback. And then you've got a defense now that you believe on paper is pretty damn good. Maybe top 10, top 7, the way they looked last year. Plus you get Jair back from the shoulder injury. Another good year, maybe the progression of Rashawn Gary. Jerron Reed helps solidify that defensive front. You bring back Rasul Douglas to give you depth in the secondary as well, because Stokes had such an impressive start to his career. Think about it. Man, now you've got Bisaccia, a real special teams coach, somebody that knows what the hell they're doing. Special teams get better? Whew, wait a minute. We're all raising a glass. We're all toasting. And then you think, okay, wait a minute. Let's think about this for a second. In our world, between you and me, we're giddy. At the potential of what it could be, we're giddy, right? Because Deebo Samuel could come in here, $4 million for the next season, and after that, you'd have to give him a contract extension. But you know that money's going to start to become more and more available as the TV contracts begin to rise. So, yeah, you know what? Give him a long-term deal. Pay him a lot of money up front. You're good to go. Okay, right? Okay. But then you think, first of all, what is it going to take to get him? You probably have enough draft capital, right? Okay. Secondly, do you really think San Francisco, after starting the war that it started last year, when Shanahan approached the Packers about Rodgers and kind of pissed off LaFleur, do you think LaFleur's calls are going to be accepted? You think Lynch is going to pick up the phone for Brian Gutekunst? Maybe if he wants to get some draft choices, maybe. Okay, maybe there's goodwill there, but that likelihood is maybe a 50-50 proposition. Now you take it to the next level and you say, okay, what about trading him in the conference? See, I don't know if they're going to want to do that either, because that makes the Packers then probably the favorite to win the conference. And you're just trying to get out of your own division. You're trying to beat Arizona. You're trying to beat the Rams. You're going to need all the weapons you can possibly get to do that. But, well, he's not happy, so maybe we do end up trading him away. Well, wait a minute. Then here come the Jets and some of the other AFC teams that also have draft capital and better draft capital than what you have. The likelihood of them trading Deebo Samuel, first of all, I think is a 50-50 proposition. Then within the conference is probably even less. Then to the Packers is even less than that. So most likely he's going to an AFC team where he's not going to come back to bite them unless they face him in a Super Bowl. So it's great for you and I to sit down and pontificate about and maybe do a little dreaming, but in the grand scheme of things, I just don't think that's going to happen. Just don't think it's going to happen.
He also brought up how good the offense would be. I would say it would be similar to what it was last year with Devontae in terms of yards and points productivity.
Yeah.
Top 10, top 7 offense in the league. I would say you take away Devontae, you put Debo in. They're good at different things, but overall, I'd say it's a similar production.
And then you throw in the addition of Sammy Watkins alongside. So, yeah, I would probably say that it gives you more of an opportunity, certainly. But I would say that it's probably going to be about the same, maybe even a little bit better. And with the return of Robert Tonyan, who knows how much better it actually gets. You know? But the likelihood of it actually happening? No. I doubt it. I doubt it big time. I mean, I don't mean to be this big bucket of cold water, but I just don't think it's going to happen. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. James writing to me, if Middleton's out for the rest of the Chicago series, do the Bucks get past the Bulls? I think they can, but I also think that you're going to need to get better play out of Drew Holiday. You're going to have to get that first and foremost. You're going to, other guys are obviously going to, I hate to say the old cliche of having to step up, but I think you're going to have to step up. Those guys are going to have to step up. That's it. You're losing that offensive prowess and also that quiet confidence, if you will, that Giannis appears to like so much. His guy, as he calls him, my brother, you're missing all of that. Can they win? Of course they can win. But I also think you're going to have to get more out of the bench. A lot more out of the bench. You can't get 8 points like you did last night. Not gonna happen. Let's go to the phone calls. Let's talk to Al, listening to us in Janesville. Al, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill, how you doing? Just want to make a couple comments about how Council sets his lineup, and just take a look at it tomorrow night. We don't have a chance tonight, but he is just obsessed with going righty-lefty throughout the whole lineup. And rather than taking your core group of 5, maybe 6 really good hitters and grouping them together and see if they can score some runs, and just there's Tellez hitting 5th, McCutchen cleanup. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, McCutchen was hitting the ball pretty well, but no, I would not put McCutchen hitting cleanup anymore.
And he's been doing that for a week now.
Right. I think to me, I mean, like he went Wong, Adames, Yelich, Rowdy, Tellez, and then your DH was actually Keston Hiura, who hit down in the lineup. And I don't know how much longer you can go Wong, Adames, Yelich, and say McCutchen behind him. I don't know how much longer you can basically give up the top of your lineup. You know what I mean?
You can't. Yeah, Yelich has got to be down in the 7 or 8 spot if he's in the game at all. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to get in that guy's head. And I love him. He never says anything. He's not negative, but he's just struggling. We all know that. And maybe just sit him for a week and see what we can do with them. But just take a look tomorrow night when he sets that lineup, when it comes out, and he's just obsessed with going left, right. And rather than grouping people together that are maybe even remotely hitting, and I truly believe this, that affects the whole team. I mean, you have a whole team hitting less than 200. I mean, right. Obviously there's a problem.
Nope, 100% agree.
And I am shocked they have as many wins as they do, just with the way they're hitting. I just don't know how they're pulling off. Their pitching can't carry them all year.
Yep. No, I completely agree with you. Appreciate the phone call. I agree. And we've talked about this earlier, that there's only so much time you're going to have before you have to make a decision with Christian Yelich and what you're going to do with that portion of the lineup. At least, now Yelich, as I had mentioned earlier, at least Yelich has an on-base percentage over 300. And that's what's keeping him near the top of the lineup, is because with a on base percentage, at least he's getting on base to where you can say, okay, I'll look at this and and he's setting the tables for guys like Rowdy Tellez. But right now, when you look at the Brewers overall, the overall OPS of the Brewers puts them 21st in Major League Baseball. 21st in Major League Baseball. If you strictly, and I know people don't like to use the batting average, but if you look at the batting average of the Milwaukee Brewers, they are 24th in Major League Baseball. OPS 21st, 24th in batting average. You look at total home runs, especially when you talk about a team that hits in the National League Central. Now, granted, it's not warm weather yet, and you don't have a lot of the ballparks really warming up to where the ball's going to start flying. But the Brewers are 18th in home runs thus far. 18th overall. Then you look at the Brewers when it comes to on-base percentage. The Brewers are 23rd in Major League Baseball. By the way, Cabrera, another strikeout, did not get into the 3,000 hit club just yet. So the Brewers are 20. So all of their offensive statistics, home runs, batting average, OPS, on-base percentage, everything's in from 18 and worse. From 18th in the National League or 18th in Major League Baseball and worse. And at some point, he's right. You got to shake it up a little bit. Stay tuned. Final segment of the Bill Michaels Show on a Thursday coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Start your engines and win a 2022 Chevy Camaro SS with a Pepsi Pit Stop presented by Jack Links. Stop by Quick Trip and purchase any participating Pepsi, Rockstar, or Jack Links product with your Quick Rewards card and earn an automatic entry. 10 weekly winners receive a $500 Quick Trip gift card and 4 NASCAR Quick Trip 250 tickets. And a chance to win a Chevy Camaro. The Pepsi Pit Stop and NASCAR Quick Trip 250 are your first stop to summer excitement.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. And this portion of the program, final segment of the Bill Michaels Show, is brought to you by our friends over there at New Mail Medical. And if you are looking to feel better, look better, just have every kind of thing better on you, our friends at New Mail Medical Center, they can help you. The medical experts, Doc Tim and the gang, they're good people over there. One phone number to call for, it doesn't matter the location, even if it's not in this area. One phone number to call, they can help you out. 414-455-4451. They are trusted. They are the best because they are the original. They do it better than anybody else, and everybody's trying to, kind of rip it off from them. But they are fantastic people, whether it's erectile dysfunction, low testosterone. If you're looking for weight loss, to look better, feel better, they can help you out. But you can't do anything if you don't pick up the phone. You got to pick up the phone. Give them a call. 414-455-4451. Doesn't matter if you live in California. Doesn't matter if you live in Florida. If you got one nearby and you're hearing my voice, call them and they will hook you up with the right location. No problem. Again, 414-455-4451. That's 414-455-4451. That's the New Mail Medical Center. Again, 414-455-4451. This one, Tidbit says, I'm feeling a new movie ideas. Boxer on a plane. Set of snakes on a plane. Good boxer on a plane. If you haven't seen it already, the video of Mike Tyson going after a dude who apparently, at least allegedly, got to say that, was drunk, heavily intoxicated, annoying the former boxer. And the boxer then took it out on him and said, what you talking about? And off he went. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to get back at it. Our buddy, John Cooper. I talked to Dan Shanka yesterday from Our Lad Scouting Service. Dan is recovering. Dan had some strokes, had some health issues, and he is recovering. And so our best goes out to Dan, but his buddy, John Cooper from Our Lads, is going to be joining us coming up tomorrow on the program. Seth Partnow, the NBA cover for The Athletic, is going to be joining us tomorrow. We're going to talk some Bucks and Bulls. We're going to talk some NFL draft tomorrow. We're going to talk Brewers baseball tomorrow. Brewers off to Philadelphia, and they're going to be pitching tomorrow at 6:05. That's when the first one comes flying out. So the Brewers, a weekend series away from home in Philly. So we'll talk about that tomorrow and the weekend coming up, that is. As the weather today is nice, the weather tomorrow will not be so nice. Also, we'll talk more about this Chris Middleton injury and the impact that it could have on this series between the Bucks and the Bulls, and the Bucks moving forward. Any news that we would need to know about coming out of Green Bay, obviously we'll pay attention to. So, all that kind of stuff coming up. So yes, Ben, exercise your whip connections over there from the Whip in Philly. Get them on. We'll talk a little bit about this Philadelphia Phillies team. We'll preview the Brewers and the Phillies. Hell yeah.
Oh, if you think I don't like Girardi.
Yeah. Oh,
You should hear the radio back home.
I would assume that I will be getting you this year a Joe Girardi dartboard for Christmas. I'm looking forward to that purchase.
Hopefully he's gone by May, but we'll see.
So that is all coming up tomorrow on the program, and we're looking forward to it. This one's from Mark, who says, did you see what Devondre Campbell said? How he always feels like he's done all the right things for all the wrong people, but he loves it in Green Bay. I did see that. I heard it, as a matter of fact. I heard it. It's interesting because Devondre Campbell said at the podium yesterday a lot of things that Aaron Rodgers had stated only a year ago were wrong about the organization. They didn't appreciate guys. They didn't appreciate their players. They treated them like commodities, like pieces of meat. Have things, the culture changed that much, that drastically in one season in Green Bay? And if it has, do you get more and more guys that listen to a guy like Devondre Campbell that say, that's a place I want to go. That's a place I would like to be. So, which obviously would be fantastic for the Green Bay Packers, not just to have guys that, as Aaron Rodgers put it, want to come and play with me, but guys like Devondre Campbell that find a place that appreciates you and wants to be a part of it. Not a bad way to go. That'll do it. I can't believe the show's done. It's beautiful out. I've got the windows open. The wind is whipping through here. It's a nice warm breeze. I'm enjoying the day. I could go for like 3 more hours. Unfortunately, it's time for us to go. I'm going to go pick up my motorcycle. I can't wait. Going to pick that up and ride it home today. My first few miles on the bike today. Oh, yes. All right, that's it. That'll do it for us. Nothing today. Nothing tonight. Sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. Do a little grilling out this evening. Then tomorrow we'll reconvene, get you ready for Bucks and Bulls, Brewers and Phillies. Until